we're gonna do.
Wait, baby, let's go.
We're gonna have a good time.
Shadows and concrete, secret rooms, a city full of sighs, a million worlds we've never seen, someone else's eyes. Billions of footsteps, bustling feet, time to traffic lights, up the stairways to the doors, and vanish into lies. And it goes in the windows, and it goes in the wires, and it goes in the whispers, and the moans and the silence.
Futuristic. This that lyrical murder shit. Epidemics on the beat. Let's go.
Click, boom, ready to bomb and they step in the room and I run it with dominance, nothing to prove. I'm finna body you while I be tearing them up like a hollow to pipe down, you ain't never been a big threat. Been better with the beats like Dipset. King bed laid out with a princess. Put them all up on the lips like Blistex. Whole team at diminishing loss. Ain't nobody really wanna benefit us. Choke the rhythm, I got a venomous touch. I don't got the time for these irrelevant fucks. Get up in the booth and I body your baseline. So I don't got a minute for the people to waste time. I run it with the wolves and a couple of K9s. I flow in the weapon and a bit of my waistline.
Coming from the bottom, I've been repping for the east side. Killing for my city, man, it's never gonna change. They was talking down, everybody want a piece now. Swear they y'all wanna beef with the beast, I know. Hustle every night for the life we chose. Money get right, turn the lights down low. Get nobody hold me back, motherfucker, let's
Tryna hold me back like I'm about to swing. No gloves when I get in the ring. I'm a triple threat coming in their neck. That's why my hooks cook when I get on the beat. No doubt in me. This was destined, been flexing my message to make fam proud of me. Now I do the show, get escorted back to the bus. Everybody proud of me. I'm a lottery pick, they was scouting the kid. I'm Jordan with the fruit cause I'm obviously sick. Nobody but know that he gotta be rich. From house to the yacht, fucking proud I'm legit. Yo, I'm more about keeping my morals. I live in the future like I'm in the portal. The music I make gon' be telling my story long after I pass the legend immortal.
coming from the bottom, I've been repping for the east side. Killing for my city, man, it's never gonna change. They was talking down, everybody want a piece now. Swear they y'all wanna beef with the beast, I know. Hustle every night for the life we chose. Party get right, turn the lights down low. Get nobody hold me back, motherfucker, let's go.
Phase 2, we getting back to basics. Look around and y'all captivated. Whole team been up on the path to greatness. Been the hottest out and y'all can't debate it. Don't nobody wanna play with us. Everybody get burned by the flames I bust. And when I put up on the mic, straight dangerous. I put venom in they don't till they break and bust the mic. Ain't nobody that's giving them millions. Independent, we still in the building. Lyrical murderer, killing civilians. Lord have mercy for women and children. Y'all in a bit of predicament. Fucking wildin' while they living belligerent. Finally winning, now we gotta be vigilant. Body the beat, there's no one equivalent.
Coming from the bottom, I've been repping for the east side. Killing for my city, man, it's never gonna change. They was talking down, everybody want a piece now. Swear they y'all wanna beef with the beast, I know. Hustle every night for the life we chose. Party get right, turn the lights down low. Get nobody hold me back, motherfucker, let's go. Y'all wanna beef with the beast, I know. Hustle every night for the life we chose. Party get right, turn the lights down low. Get nobody hold me back, motherfucker, let's go.
Rasa pedih di dalam dada, luka lama yang telah membekas. Sudah ku coba ku buang jauh-jauh. Bayang-bayang di depan mata berkabut dengan memori. Sudah ku coba untuk lupakan dirimu. Meski setinggi langit dan sedalam samudra, aku takkan bisa lepas darimu. Seberapa kuat pun mencoba untuk melawan, aku takkan bisa lepas darimu. Kenangan yang begitu pahit menghapus semua yang manis. Sudah ku coba ku telan baik-baik, namun hanya sia-sia. Memang mustahil rupanya. Sudah ku coba untuk lupakan dirimu. Meski setinggi langit luka lama yang telah membekas. Sudah ku coba untuk lupakan dirimu. Meski setinggi langit dan sedalam samudra, aku takkan bisa lepas darimu. Seberapa kuat pun coba untuk melawan, aku takkan bisa lepas
Shotzi Constraurico.
Ain't no surprise that I can't sleep tonight. My only vice is standing by your side. So won't you love me better? I'm waiting here. I need you now. Gravity can't hold us down, so just take me there. Don't
So stoked for the Rippies. We're only like 2 months away. Lakeland, Florida. We have a whole crew together. Some of the bandos, scorpion tattoos. I think Nathan's getting married. It's gonna be a crazy time. Plus you got the Rippies, I mean the main event. I think Almany Brown's gonna be playing a concert. It's gonna be great. So if you're not already planning on going, make sure you plan on going. Can you see it? There is no way. There is no way. Oh my God. There is no way. Oh my God. This is right here. This is... Oh. Oh my God. This is crazy. This is right. This is in my backyard. Oh, no way. We only get one life. 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 Let's live it up. We only get one life. We only get one.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is FPTV. I am Sean the Don. This is the home of FPV. Tonight we have an extremely special show for you. We are going to be potentially showing up, depending on how this light works out, the Rippies, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Rippies, the world's first FPV video award show.
If you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted.
Woo! FPV was littered with awesome times for some people. Littered with awesome times for some people. Woo! 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 For me, FPV meant a lot. It just got kicked off really in 2020, and I've had an amazing time with FPV, so very thankful to be a part of it, have you guys as friends hanging out, rocking with us here at FPTV, and just having a great time doing this fun stuff. Woo! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. This is the Rippies. You are at the world's first FPV Video Award Show. First FPV Video Award Show. Woo! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, lots of shit can happen. You never know what's going to happen here. First FPV Video Award Show. Alright, lots of shit can happen. Lots of shit can happen. Lots of shit can happen. You never know. Woo! 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 Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. This is the Rippies. You are at the world's first FPV Video Award Show. And we are rocking and a rolling. Rocking and a rolling. Rocking and a rolling. Woo! Rocking and a rolling. Woo! Rocking and a rolling. Woo! You are at the world's first FPV Video Award Show. You are at the world's first FPV Video Award Show. Woo! Rocking and a rolling. Rocking and a rolling. Woo! You are at the world's first FPV Video Award Show. In 2020, it will go down, but it's actually going to take place in 2022 because it occurs the following year. We are going to be setting up a venue, a live location for a true full-fledged FPV Video Award Show. This year it's been virtual due to the COVID situation, Corona, whatever you want to call it. But next year it's going to be legitimate. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest FPV party that's ever existed. and we're going to try and find somewhere that's both friendly to FPV where we can go out and fly nearby, and in addition to that, that we'll be able to have all the accoutrements that people enjoy. People like to have some party times, do their thing. I want everyone to be able to party at full blast, no holding back, just good times. So that's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for all of your contributions, for everything you do to help each other out, being friendly to each other, liking each other's videos, commenting on each other's videos, hanging out with each other, coming in here every night. I really appreciate visiting with everyone. I know everyone can't make every single show because we're here for 5 nights a week, but if you can come through and just say what's up, drop a like, I really appreciate that. That makes a big difference to me. If not, no big deal. When we'll see you, we'll see you.
Do you sit at home, lonely, unmotivated, and uninspired? Does it feel like you're just flipping through the pages of your life? Do you get angry that there's nothing fun to watch on TV? Or that you just got pwned, and now he's teabagging you? Then join the revolution that's sweeping the nation. It's a show where everyone is someone, and anyone can be the star. Join the KwadCorner movement today. Hang out with the homies. Hit them hot links. And be a part of the largest community of FPV family misfits anyone could ask for. Takes one, and you're hooked.
What's going on? If you tell anyone about this, I'll fucking kill you. I'm kidding. We'll come back by tonight. Okay, sweetheart?
fucking rhyme. It's fucking bobsled time.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming out here to a Caribbean version of the Quad Corner. We've got a special guest in the hot seat, somebody I've been chasing for a while. I'm super glad everything aligned. We got him in the hot seat. He's here. We're gonna figure some things out live. You know how we do it, but he's here. I got the man Win Jumbie in my hot seat. Let's switch on over. Bring him out. All right, so there's Win Jumbie. Like I said, let me do some finagling. All right, so let's pop you out and make you full screened. So that's what the people love. I got him. I got a big screen up on the thing. Oh wait, I wasn't sharing videos correctly. That's what it was. Hold on real quick before we go.
All right. Yeah, that's looking like it right there.
All right. So I should be sharing my screen. It should say two friends having the time of their life. It should just be a still frame of a guy on a mountain bike. We'll get into videos later and stuff, but right now all that we're worried about is the video's good, the audio's good. We got you big on the live stream. That's all that matters. Like I said, Win Jumbie is in the house. What is going on, my friend? How are you, bro?
Man, I'm good. Glad to be here, boy. It's just been a long time coming, you know?
Absolutely, man. I wanted you back in 22, but you know, things didn't work out. I remember there was like a storm or something that we had to fight, or you had to fight through. Something like that?
Yep. Yeah. We had some bad conditions.
Well, everything seemed to work out. How are conditions right now? What's the weather like down there?
Yeah, it's good. I don't know if you could hear the waves in the background, but I'm actually on the beach.
You're such a jerk. Okay, so in every
like
live stream that I've
5 feet away from the sea.
Ah, what a jerk. So in every live stream that I've seen one of your videos pop up, like the live streamers will be like, hey, so where's this guy from? And everybody will go on kind of a search. Now, I wanted to ask you, because it got brought up, and I want to say it was Don E's stream, I believe, but it was brought up, somebody was asking like where you were from, and so they went to your YouTube, and in your abouts it says Canada. So
yep.
For the record, for everybody at home in the chat and in the replay gangs, introduce yourself. You're Win Jumbie, but who is Win Jumbie? Give everybody a little bit.
Yeah. Well, my real name is Orion. You know, like the constellation.
Absolutely.
Orion. Yeah. I was originally born in Canada, so that's why.
Oh,
Canada.
right on. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So my mom's in Canada, and my younger brother and all my family from my mom's side is in Canada. And my dad is the one that's from here, from Tobago.
Ah, very cool, man.
I was born there, but grew up in Tobago.
How cool! So do you travel back and forth then?
For my whole life until I got a family, you know, and kids and stuff, and you know, traveling kind of became hard. But up until 5 years ago, I would travel religiously to Canada to visit my family.
You know, you could barely tell that you're out of the Caribbean because your Canadian accent is so thick and so heavy. You know?
That's just so you could understand me. If I go into like full-on local accent, then you wouldn't understand a single thing I was saying.
Really? Oh, okay. So
yeah,
I want to tell you, like, I personally have been a big fan of you since you started posting some stuff on our channel, and got me interested and everything. We've just been watching you, so I love it when you come out with videos. And then you started doing these vlog videos, and like,
Yeah.
your voice and your accent and the way you carry yourself and everything else in your videos, every time I see you and hear you, just brings a big giant smile to my face. I can feel
You know
the
the reason?
positivity resonating off of you. I could just feel it. I could feel the vibes. The love,
Well, the
everything is
reason.
right there, and it's just so. Give me that full
Yeah, it
accent
was something you
again.
said actually. Something you said in one of your past streams that you about the accent, and I should vlog more or I should talk more.
Sure.
And it was because of that. Because of that, I started talking more and trying to give you people a little more lifestyle
Absolutely.
vibe to the videos. You know?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pride in where you live. It's pride in where you grew up and who you are and everything else, as well as like how beautiful, man. I like take it how you
Yeah.
will. I love your accent and your voice and everything else. Just like I said, it makes me super happy. So just give us a little tidbit of like the
Yeah.
hometown slang. See if somebody at home
Yeah.
can pick it up.
Yeah. Well, if any of them fellas watching right now, they're gonna understand what I'm saying. But me, I know if you gonna understand what I'm talking about right now, you'll pick up a couple of the words and them in between, but a lot of them will sound like, you know, we just talk real fast. So a lot of the things will get lost in words would blend one into the other.
Oh, I love it. Bro. Oh, yes. Win
It's
Jumpy,
something like,
everybody. The man, the myth, the
yeah.
legend. I can't wait. The original island boy. Win Jumpy, what up? Orion, welcome. Thank you so much again for being here, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
I love the support. I love the vibes you all pushing on the stream. You
hell
know,
yeah, man. Well,
that's
that's
why.
what it's all about, is just, this hobby, this one little crazy hobby has brought us all together, no matter, who you are, from
Yep.
what walks of life, what you do in your own time is
Global
you.
community.
But everybody has this one, unified feeling, conjoined feeling of this camaraderie, this community, this friendship, this bond over a
Yeah.
flying toy and an experience you have, under a goggle.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy, but no, this is
grown men. I mean, I'm 42, and
no kidding.
the exhilaration and the feeling I get from flying these little toy helicopters,
Oh,
you know,
I can't wait to get
it's
into like
amazing.
all the questions. I have so many. Okay.
Well, well, go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Where you,
Continue. Okay, so I
yeah.
do have a problem of just like getting overly excited and just talking over. So if you're saying
Yeah.
something and things, just continue going. If I'm like interrupting, I'm just
All
super
right.
excited that you're here. So
Well,
like, yeah.
I'll go with that. Well, I'll go with that train of thought. That train of thought with these toy helicopters, because I was big into gaming and I build my own PCs and gaming computers. So I was big
Nice.
into gaming and RC cars and toy helicopters and things like that from ever since a child. So when COVID hit, it took away all my ability to do anything outdoors, because I live on an island. I surf, I windsurf, I mountain bike, kiteboard, water ski, wakeboard, you name it. And then COVID hit, and all of a sudden I'm stuck inside a house with nothing to do. And there was a video by Frederick Douch. I think it was.
Yep. I think your audio cut out. Can you hear me? You seem to be able to hear me, but I can't hear you. Let me see. Let me go back to mine. Oh, check. We can see you. Up. You're cutting it there. Haha.
You got me?
I
You
got
got
you.
me now?
You're coming in
Ah.
beautifully.
Wait, I think I know what's happening there.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cool.
no worries.
So,
Like I said, we do it live here. Uh-oh. He's on it, guys. Everybody, he's on it. He sees what's going on. We'll have him back here in a second. But you know, we get little gremlins here and there. When Jumbie is in the hot seat, telling us a little bit about where he comes from, where he grows up, how he got into it, and more. Let's see if he's back. Check. Can you?
You should be getting him
Aha!
up.
There we go. I can hear you
Just
again.
I had to switch from some mic stuff around in Discord.
No worries.
Yeah, cool. So I don't know where you lost me. What I was talking about.
So you can just start back from the beginning, just in case anybody kind of got lost along the way.
Yeah. So no, you're talking about just being grown men and flying around
Right.
these toy helicopters. Yeah.
And
So,
COVID just hit and took everything away from you. Is pretty much where
right.
it was.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, came across a video on YouTube, FPV compilation video, and I didn't even know that drones could fly like that.
Oh.
And flip and do rolls and fly in and amongst trees and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because I had a typical camera drone, you know, the ones you put your phone in the controller.
Yeah.
And you go up and you look down and you take pictures. So anyway, I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And being able to get that outer body experience, I thought it was the perfect thing to keep me occupied during COVID. So
Absolutely it was.
One of those little Emacs, you know, the 1S.
Yeah.
So you get the goggles, the radio, two 1S packs, and the little drone. So I would sit in my bedroom and fly, you know, around the house and outside and around the garden.
Hell yes.
Yeah. Eventually, kind of stepped up a little bit to the 2S, the Tiny Hawk S, the black one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So modified that a little bit and, you know, made a couple changes to get it to fly really good.
Sure.
And I actually started working on all my tricks on a Tiny Hawk S, 2S.
No kidding.
Quad. So I started practicing matty flips and power loops.
No kidding.
Really?
What?
Yeah. So I was really into micros for a long time.
Sure.
Mainly because, you know, it's a pocket-sized drone. You can just pull up somewhere and go and fly in on a
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect reason.
So I got the Tiny Hawk Freestyle, the 2.5-inch one.
Right.
The little carbon frame, and that's where I really learned about, you know, PID tuning and you know, it feels a lot like a 5-inch.
Right.
But it's obviously not a 5-inch, it's a 2.5.
Sure.
And then I met Maverick. You've seen him in some of my videos.
Yeah.
Maverick. So I met Maverick, and Maverick was like, "Dude, you need to get into 5-inch," because I'm ripping around my little Tiny Hawk Freestyle, and he's flying his 5 inches. And I was like, you know what? This is looking sick, man. I definitely had to start flying a 5-inch.
So you started in Tiny Hawk or a Tiny Trainer or Tiny Hawk.
Tiny Hawk, yeah.
Tiny Hawk. I had a Tiny Hawk as well, and moved up a little bit more to a little 2S, and you were doing matty flips with the 2S, huh?
Well, that first video on my channel is the Tiny Hawk 2S. The very, very first video I ever posted. So I was doing these knife edge gaps and hitting all these crazy gaps through trees and stuff with the little Tiny Hawk.
Hell yes. Very cool. Okay, so that at least brings me up to my first like when Jumbie question. So being in Tobago, how do you get parts? Like like
That's
what is there?
a
Is there
good
a
question.
store? Is there? Do you order things? Like how does that work? Being
Very
on
good
an
question.
island.
Believe it or not, I'm actually down to one pack right now. I only have one 6S
Oh no.
1300. Yeah. So tomorrow, I think, either tomorrow or Thursday, I should be receiving a shipment of batteries. But we have to try to kind of bob and weave to try and avoid customs as much as possible.
Sure.
Because as soon as they know that it's a drone-related part, they're just going to kill you with price. And we have to pay
Wow.
the same as what we paid. So if you spend $40 on an item online, when it gets here, you have to pay $40 again. This is besides shipping. So
Just for the customs, huh?
yeah, so it's not only hard to get equipment here, it's quite expensive.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that you're just ordering from like Pyro and everything else. I mean, just like normal
check it.
normal stuff like us, right?
Drone, those guys really, really help us out a lot,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of shipping and anybody that orders from Pyro Drone will know what I'm talking about when it comes down to
So
paperwork.
I'm assuming that they probably have an idea that customs is, kind of difficult to work around, and they probably know how to keep it kind of, a low key box or something, no pack or pictures and this, that, and the other kind of thing.
Yeah, so you just
That's crazy.
Computer parts actually is tax free when it
Right.
enters the country. So you just label it as computer parts. As long as it's not a fully built drone, then you should be all right with just labeling it as computer parts.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's what's shipping and stuff like that for you? A lot of us here, in the United States, we take shipping stuff and drone parts and things like that for a huge granted. I can get a lot of things next day from Amazon if if I'm so desperate. But like, yeah, what's it like out there? Like, is there a giant wait or?
It's roughly
I'm just fascinated.
2 weeks. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks, about a
Okay.
2-week wait.
Okay.
Yeah, if I order something from Pyro Drone, sometimes less.
Okay.
And what we do is we have a skybox. So I have a Miami address, which is a skybox address, a Miami
Sure.
address that, for instance, if you wanted to send me something, stickers or whatever,
Sure.
it would go to that Miami address, and then it would be sent to me locally to my local PO box in Tobago, and then that company would bill me accordingly.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is the fastest and the easiest way to get anything into Tobago. If you order it directly, it comes through snail mail, and a lot of the time it would get lost. We're in a South American country, so
Wow. So
Yeah.
so how you're right off of what, the Venezuelan coast, right?
yep. If you start going north from Venezuela, we're the first twin island republic
Wow, man.
as you start going north. So we're like the closest point is like just a couple of miles, 5 miles away from Venezuela.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I mean, okay, other than like your customs and stuff like that, there's no real like upcharge in the parts, so that's pretty good. What about stuff like day-to-day things? Being on an island, your groceries, milk, eggs, whatever have you. What's day-to-day on an island like? I've never
Cost
talked
of
to
living.
anybody like who lived on an island or anything, let alone Caribbean.
The cost of living is quite high. It's
Yeah.
to the US is 7. So $1 is 7 of TT of our dollars.
Wow. Wow, that
So
is
if I had to buy something that's $10, I would have to pay 70 of
Yeah.
my dollars. Yeah. And an average, for instance, minimum wage is like 17 TT dollars per hour,
ouch.
which would be in the US, I don't know, $2. A little more than $2, almost $3 US.
Well,
So
what is it that you do? What is your day job? What does Win Jumbie do when he's not entertaining us
ah,
with the tropical, beautiful videos that
so
you've come to love?
that's where the name Windjambi comes from.
Okay.
Windjambi was my windsurfing and kiteboarding name.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
Okay.
I was a professional kiteboarder for a while, entering competitions.
Woo! Not bragging,
Yeah,
not bragging or anything.
yeah.
Just a little bit
Nah,
professional, right? Just a
You,
little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just a little bit.
Just a
Yeah,
little
just a
bit
little bit.
professional. Like just a
And
smidge better than everybody else in this chat like combined. Just a little bit better than that, But he's humble, so all right, I'm sorry,
yeah.
continue.
So, no, that's where the name Windjambi came from. So
Okay.
me and a couple of the other guys were known as the Windjambies. So as long as there's wind, the Jumbies will show up on the scene.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
technically a Jumbie.
a
What
Jumbi. A
what
Jumbi is like a aberration, a ghost or a spirit that has come out of the darkness.
Whoa. Oh, cool. Man, this is awesome. Again, I'm going to continue to thank you all stream, but yeah, thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Okay, so
Yeah, man.
so like a ghost
So
kind of thing. So are
yeah,
you
we have a lot of folklore on the island. Um, old African folklore that has made its way over to the Caribbean during colonial times, during slavery and all of that.
sure?
So a lot of people, black magic, voodoo, a lot of people believe in and do black magic
Yeah.
on the island. Yeah.
Are you one of those people who believe and do?
It all depends. Sometimes you're like, nah, that what I saw there, that couldn't have been real.
Sure.
That's my mind playing tricks. But
Absolutely.
I've seen some crazy things, man, living on this island.
So
Like
crazy.
unexplainable. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Okay, that's awesome. I'm super stoked to have the Wind Jumbie in my hot seat. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on the stream. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and geek out on you all night. But so we're going to move into some of the videos that you sent me, so we can start asking you some FPV related questions and things like that. So
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
get into the videos, what is your current setup right now? Besides the
Right.
6S pack, what else you got?
Yeah. Right. So I always had two quads. For some reason, I've never got past two builds.
Sure.
Every time I build a third quad, I would either break it or lose it.
Oh man,
So
that's
yeah,
not
I
good.
always have two quads up and running.
Yeah.
Long range quad with GPS and all of that jazz, and my freestyle quad. Recently switched to 6S a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I would
Nice.
say. And it took me a while. I flew all different types of frames. Like I tried all different types of iFlight frames, stretched X, H, you name it, I tried it.
Right.
I just to try and get sort of personal feeling. That drone should feel like an extension of your own body.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I kind of settled on that Squash X that the TBS Source One has.
Right.
So my freestyle quad is a TBS Source One frame, that Squash X style. Still flying analog.
Nice.
I'm running those Zing 1855 kV motors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
have I have the same zings on one of my rigs.
The ones or the twos? Because I run in the Zing 2.
I have the ones. I'm still running some of my old beaters. They're
Yeah.
probably on their last leg, but they're still kicking.
So far, what I like with them is the tolerance, meaning that I could get sand in the motors and they'll spin out really easy. I've had motors in the past that has this really, really low tolerance, like tiny gap between the magnet and the rotor.
Well, So you've said that you just switched over into 6S. We could kind of notice that in some of your videos and things like that too. That
I wish
you
I
really
went
took
6S way earlier.
you took hold to it pretty dang quick. I think so. You were flying what, 4S? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was flying 4S,
Okay.
and I just one day I was flying around with that 4S pack and just like coming out of power loops and coming out of some of those maneuvers, it's just bottoming out and sagging out, and I was just like, you know what, that's it, I'm switching.
You're
I need
ready
more
for a little bit more oomph, huh?
Yeah.
So, well, that's good. I mean, you took to it really easy. I will also say something that I noticed. A lot of your videos, you used to be kind of like in the middle 100 to 200 like foot fly area, like, you know, kind of like all of us start, kind of a little bit higher, which brought me into the questions of like air traffic and regulation and stuff like that on an island. How does that work? I mean, you don't have the FAA?
No, we have the CAA, which is the Civil Aviation Authority.
Okay.
And those guys are quite laid back. We don't have anything like a Part 106 or 107, but you do have to get a license to fly drones.
Like
But,
even the little small tiny ones?
Yeah. As long as you're bringing a drone into the country or building a drone to fly in the country, they want you to register. Two
Wow.
reasons. We need to register with the radio authority because we're transmitting on 5.8 or 2.4 or whatever.
Sure.
So yeah, we need to register stating that, hey, I have let's say a radio transmitter that's putting out 900 megahertz at 1 watt,
Right.
or whatever the case may be. So you register with them, and then this process is really easy. It's like a 2-minute thing, and you email the Civil Aviation, which is our FAA equivalent.
Right.
Send them an email with all the specs of your drone, and they will basically give you an okay letter stating that you are okay to fly this drone in Trinidad and Tobago as long as you abide by the law.
For that day?
And whenever you fly, yeah, as long as you abide by the law and you obviously don't go and fly, near airports or
Sure.
do anything stupid and dangerous.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so pretty relaxed. I mean, are there any real regulations that they're just kind of sticklers on? Like, I mean, the FAA is, as of right this second, they're not too terrible on us right now. It's coming. It's going to be terrible, but I mean, as of right now, they let us go. Everybody pretty much knows, 399 feet is the limit. Don't go higher than that. And then you're actually into, air travel space and stuff like that, and are big no-nos. Everybody pretty much knows don't be stupid around hospitals and, people and sporting events and stuff like that. But yeah, do you guys have anything like specific that caters, I guess, to the island?
Mainly, well, there's a website, the Civil Aviation website, that has all of the no-fly zones. So we have designated no-fly zones where you can't fly a drone in that area, full stop. But outside of the no-fly zones, they're kind of very relaxed. I think we have up to 1,000 feet, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because commercial air traffic doesn't go below 1,000 feet.
No kidding.
So we are actually quite safe, yeah. And because everywhere, as long as you're not in a no-fly zone, we're over bush or the sea.
Sure.
So yeah, we don't have.
Well, and that brings me to another question though. Tobago's not like, it's not huge, it's not small by any means, but it's not a gigantic island. So like, I have I guess a couple questions around that, but like how big is the island?
Tobago itself is quite small. It's roughly, I would say, it's a cigar-shaped island, so it's
Right.
about 11 to 13 miles long long and about 7 miles wide. And the population is only 60,000 people.
60 people.
Yes, 60,000. So 60,000
Oh, okay,
people.
60,000. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said
60,000,
60,
yeah.
as in like 60
That's
just done.
Tobago is
But
the
still,
smaller, is the
60,000.
smaller island. So.
Sure. So, I guess are you island hopping in some of these videos? I'm assuming you are, right?
Nah.
So
Nah,
all
all
these
my
videos
videos
are Tobago?
Tobago, yep.
Tobago?
And this is
Okay,
mostly
Tobago.
Tobago, yeah. And this is mostly the southern, and I haven't started to fly up north yet. Mainly because it's a fair drive away. The roads are bad. It's quite winding. So most of my videos is the lower, more southern side of the island.
That's
Closer
awesome.
to where I live, obviously. So
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay. Very, very cool. Okay, so the last question that I have before we get into the videos, and we can ask more questions and stuff. How long have you been flying in total from your tiny days till now? Like, how long have you been flying?
I would say two and a half years, because I started when COVID hit, like the beginning of 2020.
Sure.
So I discovered FPV like around November 2019.
Right.
And then did some research online, watched some videos, and trying to figure out what to buy and what to get. The first part of 2020 is when I was really getting into flying with micros and learning about FPV.
All right. Well, then this is probably in that 2020 time. This is Whoopland, a little DVR action. That's your progression
It's
is
funny that I
awesome.
don't really go back and watch my old videos.
Really? I love
Not
like
really,
I
no.
love watching my
This
old
stuff-
videos. No,
Nah,
come
this
on,
stuff, I go
man.
back and I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't fly there.
Look at
It's
this.
like
You're
horrible.
doing this on a Tiny Hawk, a little 2S. Like
Yeah.
if you took away the Tiny Hawk like part of it, and you took the battery voltage out of it,
Yeah.
nobody would ever know. Nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
They might get it that it's, maybe a little bit of a micro, but they'd have no idea that it was a Tiny Hawk, dude. The way you're throwing this around, I love how confident you were right up the bat as well. And I think having
'Cause those
such a
things
small
take a
drone.
beating, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
little plastic
absolutely.
Tiny Hawks, man.
You said you had the black one?
Yeah, the 2S one.
I had
That's the black one.
I had the white one, the 2S.
I had both. I started with the white 1S, and then I switched to the 2S, black one, and then I got the freestyle.
That's
The video didn't cut out, did it?
No. You're still here. You're coming in. You're beautiful, bro. Everything has been perfect. Your video's perfect. You're on top of it. Even when we had our little hiccups, like you could hear me.
Setup. I have like a flashlight and a phone light.
Oh.
Kind of shining on me.
So that brings me to another one. Like I said, I just get excited about all this. I could geek out on you for hours, bro, honestly. So one of my questions, you're on an island. How are you doing this? And how are you doing this so well? And then third, you said you were doing this on a beach. Like internets and the live streaming, and your camera looks great. Your audio has been absolutely on point tonight. I didn't have to do doodly squat in the test call, beforehand. Like, you're on an island.
Yeah.
How does all that work?
Well,
Educate me.
We have a really good everybody lives on the internet now, so
sure,
we have a really good Wi-Fi. Like, we have public Wi-Fi almost everywhere.
Okay, is it like one central tower and it takes care of the entire island, or at least maybe set up?
Towers. They have towers everywhere.
Okay,
but every establishment has a free Wi-Fi, so you're never out of a range of somebody's Wi-Fi somewhere.
Very cool.
And that brings me to what I'm doing now. I'm actually at work right now.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
Another one of my jobs is security.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
A couple nights out of the week, I do security.
What are you securing, if you don't mind me asking? If it's top secret, you can just
the beach. No, it's not the beach facilities. So
keeping like hoodlums out of the inflatables and stuff like that, out of the med kits.
Yeah, just making sure nobody come and cause a scene.
Has anybody ever had to step in because they were causing a scene? Have you ever had to step in?
Nah, it's so quiet. Everybody's just gone home already and gone to bed.
I feel like you would be the least combative person in the entire world, and everybody would probably see that in your security like interviews and be like, dude, why should I hire you? And you could talk your way out of any bad guy. Just be like, dude, why are you stealing that? Be like, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna go take this back and donate what I have to somebody else. You know, I feel like you are that guy.
It's an easy job. It's an easy job to have on an island like this, where everybody's just laid back and.
Well, everybody's got to know everybody, right?
Under a coconut tree and drinking rum or something, you know. So
that's so crazy that is just your normal everyday life, is to sit under the tree and have a coconut and just
surf and kite surf in the day and then hang out at night.
So, growing up as a young kid, like how was your intro into like RC cars and helicopters and stuff like that? I mean, before you got into FPV, what were you into? Were you like a skateboarder kid or anything? Also, we're gonna go into the freak style if you're ready for that one too.
Yeah, surfer. So I grew up surfing in being so close to the sea.
Sure.
I grew up surfing, wind surfing, and then kiteboarding.
Okay.
And then as a hobby, you know, eventually that became a job.
Sure, absolutely. If you have fun at something, why not make a little bit of money doing it, right? But I can okay.
And then that kind of ruins the fun sometimes.
Sure.
It all depends. You need to have a balance.
Sure, absolutely. It's same thing with some of these guys that do, like, you know, the chasing videos and stuff for FPV. You've got to have that nice balance, otherwise it does ruin the fun.
That drone there, right? That's my first 5-inch. So if you go back to the thumbnail, that picture of it, but
the freak
that
style.
was my very first 5-inch drone. That was the JB Freak Style Edition.
All right.
Yeah, you know that little build kit that Joshua Bardwell had.
Yeah. So I guess that's another question that I'm just kind of skipping over. So if this is the Joshua Bardwell, you know, freak style, so that means you grew up watching Bardwell just as everybody else. What about what about your other inspirations? What else? Who else did you start watching that really kind of like, wow, this is something I want to get into, you know?
Ledrib,
yeah? Okay.
Yeah, Ledrib. So, the first pilot that I got hooked and attached to was Ledrib.
His style, or like his blog videos, or like his actual flying videos?
His flying reminded me of surfing. And because I'm a surfer, his flying always seemed to look
very
really
fluid.
surfy,
Yeah, absolutely.
very smooth and almost like a surf session. So,
absolutely.
But then that kind of ruined FPV a little bit for me, because when I was ready to move forward and get into 5-inch drones, I went onto the local Riot website and looked at prices of 5-inch drones. And then got turned off. I was like, "There's no way I can afford to get into FPV. What am I thinking?" I'm a poor island boy.
So okay, so what's the most expensive part to get to you, either shipped, replaced, or whatever? Like, what's the worst one to replace?
Man, your goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to order, it wouldn't even be feasible to order a pair of goggles. You would have to travel. It is much, or get somebody to
Really?
bring it in for you. Yeah.
Really? Is that, I mean,
Yeah.
is that what happened for you? Is that how you got your goggles in?
Like, no, I was lucky. I'm using a SkyZone 04X.
Nice.
And yeah, I got really lucky. I got a big gig where I made a lot of money.
Hell yeah.
FPV
Very cool.
project.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, to cut a long story short, the company wanted me to design a quad that can pull a banner, like a plane pulls a banner past the event.
Sure.
Yeah, so they gave me a lot of money to build and design a drone and a banner to be pulled across an event. And I used that chunk of change to get myself a proper goggles, which was the Sky.
Very cool, man. I love the
like
story.
That's like an $800 goggles.
Yeah.
So you would have to pay at least $100 US shipping on top of that, and then when it gets here, customs is going to hit you roughly the same price as what you paid for the item, another $700 US.
No kidding.
Yeah, so if I had to do that out of my own pocket,
sure,
it might not have been possible. I would have still been flying a box goggles.
Wow. Wow, man.
So I got blessed there. I got lucky.
So how hardcore are your customs? Like, so if you were to say, hey man, I dropped my goggles and I needed a new pair. If I took like a teddy bear and I stuffed a pair of goggles, Fat Sharks, into a teddy bear and sent it to you.
No, they'll find it. They rip your stuff. They rip the packages open.
What?
This JV kit for my first 5-inch, when it got here, customs seized it.
Sure.
Right? And this is how I know that you have to get these things registered. So customs seized it and made me go and get all the registration and paperwork together. And I had to then pay another $300 US on top of the price of the drone to get it back from customs. So in total, I paid about $750 US just to get a do-it-yourself Joshua Bardwell 5-inch kit. So
wow,
that's another reason why not many people getting into FPV in this country, because it's really expensive.
Absolutely.
You had to be hooked on it like drugs, like I am.
Sure. Sure, absolutely.
Spend all your money on FPV, and then you're eating things like popcorn.
I hear you. Well, let's get back into teak and keep going. All right, so give us a little background on teak first, and then we'll get into even more questions as they just pop into my head. But like, again, thank you, thank you so much. I needed this today. This makes my heart happy, man.
Right. So with TK now, what I started doing, the little white controller that the Tiny Hawk comes with, it was a D8 protocol.
Right.
And I love the gamepad's feel. I thought all the radios, the advanced radios, were all those big blocks, those big squares.
Right.
And I wanted to stick with that gamepad controller. So when I built my first 5-inch with an XM Plus receiver, I used D8 protocol and used the Tiny Hawk controller to fly this 5-inch in this video in teak.
Nice. Very nice.
I was planning to stick with the Tiny Hawk radio. I was like, man, this radio feels good in my hands.
Yeah, we can definitely see.
It works with the XM Plus. I was like, why? Until I started fail-safing, but it worked for a while.
That's crazy. Even that story, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, and it looks like you're just so comfortable here.
Yeah. And
you're not missing a beat. You got some nice speed.
Yeah.
And you're so close. You're gonna chop your legs off, man.
This is my little training ground.
Very nice. Hell yes. Big power loops to the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, and the weather's just so beautiful down there.
Switching from 2S to 4S, to me, you see these punch outs, I was just like, this is amazing.
Oh, sure.
So this peak video was sort of my first real 5-inch 4S experience, you could see it in the flight.
Right.
And these huge power loops, I'm like, man, this thing has so much power.
Man, you're just like a kid in a candy store. Oh. So.
And for a long time, I thought I was the only one into FPV in the country.
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you if you've ever run into anybody, because I've seen it in your vlog videos. But like I said, I thought you were. I honestly, since Tobago was so small, I didn't know, and I thought you would have to be like island hopping to like go places and meet somebody. But
the two islands, there's the big island, which is Trinidad, where all these guys come from. Maverick, TT,
sure,
and Zippy, and all those little collaborations that you see me doing in my on my videos.
Right.
That's when those guys come over to Tobago from Trinidad. So Trinidad has a population of about 1.8 million people. So Trinidad is the big island, the big main island, and Tobago is a tiny little kind of vacation haven.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were about to talk to us about you ran into somebody who also FPVs out there.
In Tobago, you mean?
Yeah.
No, the only other person in Tobago that flies FPV is I got them into FPV.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah,
Well,
all the other pilots are from Trinidad.
Oh, okay, cool.
The
Well,
next island over.
Well, still, like, at least having somebody within, somewhat of a range to come and hang out is always going to be better than just being there solo. I was kind of wondering about that.
It's lonely. I'm always begging for somebody to come and fly with me because
I can imagine.
all my sessions is solo, and I try to get spotters, friends to come and just spot for me and try to get more people involved.
Well, absolutely. I mean, so do you still have your box goggles?
No, the guy that I got into FPV.
Oh, okay.
I sold him all my beginner stuff. So
Oh,
I sold
nice.
him my box goggles.
Heck yeah.
And the Tiny Hawk.
Well, that's a great way. I was just wondering if you would give other people the goggles and take them on ride-alongs, because if you're the only one getting into FPV, there's got to be so many people who have never seen this who would just flip out.
Every time I go out to fly, somebody is seeing FPV for the first time.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's just got to be the coolest and the craziest thing in the entire world.
Yeah, so this was the first day I met up with Maverick. This is that Pigeon Point video. Yeah, that was the first time I met up with Maverick. So I was excited. I was like, wow, there is somebody else who flies FPV. And he lent me a session.
Heck yeah.
Session cap.
So okay, so let's talk about the camera situations and stuff like that. I mean, for a lot of us, we take this all for granted for sure. But for us, if we wanted another GoPro, it's as easy as walking down to Best Buy and saying, "Hey, I need this." Or you want to save a little bit of money on it, go onto your Facebook Marketplace and 12 people near you are selling GoPros at half price, or whatever. What about something like that down here or down there?
That's why I was using the Runcam Orange. I only just got my first GoPro ever. I've never owned a GoPro in my life.
Oh, okay.
I just got a GoPro Hero 7.
Very cool.
How long ago? About three months ago.
Good pickup too, especially for your first GoPro. You got a little bit of that
Yeah,
that
so-
smoothing if you wanted, or it puts out a really nice 4K video and stuff. Great pickup.
Yeah.
And seeing
And,
here,
yeah, that's one of the reasons why I never went with a GoPro, because price and you know, one crash, you break it, and then you have to spend a lot of money.
absolutely. Well, 789 subscribers here. 2.5 years and almost 800 subscribers. You have
I don't
come
know
up.
how that happened, because
I do. Look at you, bro. One, you're putting in the work, and regardless of what it is that you're using, whether it be the Tiny Hawk, a Rencam Orange, or whatever, you're out there just having the best time you could possibly have, as well as throwing it down.
Yeah.
So well deserved.
yeah, that's what FPV is about.
I'm hoping after tonight's stream and maybe some people catch the replay and everything, we're gonna get you to 800 easy peasy lemon squeezy, because it's definitely
That'd be so cool.
we're gonna get you there some way easy. I mean, beautiful stuff like this. 10 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
And a way to rub it in all of our faces.
Another reason why.
Why what?
Yeah, that's another reason why you'll see Canada on my about page.
Oh, sure.
Because you can't monetize in this country, in Trinidad and Tobago.
Really?
So I can't have. I can't.
Is that
have
because
Trinidad
of
and Tobago
customs?
as my country. Probably. But
That's crazy.
there's this non-monetization for YouTube in Trinidad and Tobago.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah.
See, that's all very interesting to me, from like the island life perspective, because I'm straight up in the Midwest. I'm in the dead center of the United States. I'm nowhere close to an island. I've never been anywhere international, so like this is just all fascinating how life works somewhere else. That's so cool.
That video, I don't know if I'm lagging behind, but the video, beaches are open.
No. You're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. If you were watching it like on the stream is about 20 seconds behind us. But no, you and me are in sync.
Yeah, so that's where I teach kiteboarding in the day. So that's
cool.
Yeah. And this was the first day that they allowed us to go back to the beach. Beaches were closed during COVID, so we weren't allowed to go to the beach.
Even with 60,000 people, like that, that's
terrible.
a very, very small number.
Yeah, but we were going crazy. But I guess the World Health Organization made the laws.
Sure, absolutely.
So yeah, that was the very first day that beaches were reopened. Everybody was so excited.
That's crazy. And so you're a kiteboarding instructor.
Yep.
How freaking cool, man! Like, okay, so non-FPV. At what age did you start surfing? You can definitely see the surfing background in your flights too, like how smooth and fluid you try and get your curves and turns.
It feels a lot like kite surfing, like
sure.
when you're out doing kiteboarding or something. It does feel very fluid to me.
Right.
That's the feeling I get. Like I'm sailing or flying or surfing.
And look, you got some guts, man. You're sitting here talking about how expensive parts and pieces are, and how scrutinized you are in customs, and you're sitting here flying over water. You just watch that guy go down, you're just nope. Another day, I'm just gonna send it. You crazy man. Crazy man. I love this guy. All right.
Return to home, man. Just have your finger on that switch just in case.
And that's Christmas. That's Christmas. Like, you're rubbing this in our faces. It was cold as all get out. Like, we had the snow and everything else. Man,
So
that's got to be
we're actually
beautiful.
11 degrees above the equator.
Woo!
So 11 degrees above the equator, so it gets hot. It gets up
Oh,
to
I
like
bet it does.
36 degrees Celsius, man. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. That doesn't sound like fun at all, man.
But it gets a little too hot sometimes. But when it's cool, like at
Sure.
night, you know, it gets down to a nice cool 20,
Absolutely.
21 degrees Celsius, and
I can see that would be why you would stick closer to the coastline to get as much of a, that ocean breeze and everything, as you can. But, geez, well,
Yep.
I wanted to start hitting on some things that I started picking up on probably about 6 months ago, maybe about when you made that switch into 6S. I think once you got comfortable behind the sticks, you started venturing out a little bit more, not only just like on your FPV journeys and stuff, but more on like your own personal push in FPV. You started going harder and heavier and hitting
what I
things
try
that
to do
weren't
with
trees.
FPV is I try not to plateau. As soon as I get bored and I feel like I'm plateauing, and then I kind of push myself another level up, just to keep myself interested in the hobby mainly, and to keep it exciting, to keep it fun.
Absolutely.
Because you settle into a repertoire of moves. Let's say you have 4 favorite moves, and you sort of plateau, and you just do those same moves and the same type of flying each time. And not that I like to crash, but I like to push my skill level up. It just keeps things interesting.
Right. No, I 100% agree. What's going on here? Everything's just loading right now. I was going to bring up the one of your later videos, Veil 44 Banda. Oh, there it goes. Now everything's starting to load. Hold on. Let's get out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Veil 44. So I was saying, like, in the level ups, and I think you touched on it right there, that you don't like to plateau, that once you feel that you've hit a certain level, that for yourself you want to go a little bit harder. And
I had to push past it. Yeah.
Well, you definitely moved from from a tree, and water and stuff like that. You moved to a more difficult and challenging obstacle for sure with these bandos. But you've been hitting a whole bunch of these like crazy island bandos lately and stuff. So I threw your Mega Mansion video into stream last week with 608, and bro, that mansion thing, that have you seen the Mr. Steel video where he flies the $1 million mansion?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I saw that one. Yeah.
Your video looks like the video, like the abandoned version of the Mr. Steel video. Like dude, it was absolutely epic, and I loved it so much. So I had to watch it again and again, and I threw it in the stream. So I didn't throw that one in today, but I threw the Veil 44 in because this was crazy. So talk to me about bandos on the island. Just I'm very curious about the island and the culture and the history and everything in general.
Yeah, that last one, the Mega Bando, Sanctuary 2.
Yeah.
Because
love that video.
Time. So I've only flown that bando twice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mainly because they have some people living close by, and it's too noisy, and they complain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's close in a residential area.
Okay, I can feel that.
These bandos are abandoned hotels. The first recession we had in like the 90s, I think it was like the late 90s, 98.
Yeah.
There was that recession, a lot of the hotels closed down. So this
crazy
Veil 44, this was a hotel.
Okay.
Believe it or not, this is part of a 40-acre compound with abandoned villas spotted all over that whole compound. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is
So a
so
lot of the time,
cool.
you would see me flying another bamboo. It's the same compound, but just
A
probably a
different
5-minute
section?
walk
What?
to the other one. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's
how
crazy.
awesome. That's so
I would love to
rad.
have an FPV event or something there because you could go there
I
every day for a week and not fly the same place twice.
I would absolutely love to come down there and have an event with you or be at an event with you or something, just anything. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks so amazing. So being such a small island, you were talking about there's a lot of history, a lot of folklore and stuff like that.
Yep.
So like, do abandoned buildings stick around? Do buildings and structures and
They
things?
do.
Yeah.
They do stick around, and a lot of them, not these ones that I was just flying recently, but a lot of them, the cistern and a few of those other ones you saw in past videos, those are old 400-500-year-old ruins from colonial times.
What? That's
So we have a rich history because Tobago was fought over by England, France, Spain,
right.
and the Dutch. Yeah, English, French, Spanish, and the Dutch. So we have a really rich history spanning over a couple hundred years, well, between the 1600s to the late 1800s.
That's so cool.
And
I fucking love
the
history.
fort, I don't know if you remember that video, the fort with
Yeah.
the cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
The
that's
one
an
the
old
cannon's
English
right there
fort.
up on the hill. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an old English fort, and it's about, well, again, 400 or 500 years old.
That's so cool. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
and my thought was, this is amazing, mixing the, FPV, which is such a new modern
Absolutely.
technology thing,
Absolutely.
with an
Well,
old fort, it's 500 years old.
I mean, but it's really cool because for you it's something, I mean, growing up there, it's something you see, on a day-to-day basis, or you can see at any point in time. And then FPV comes along, it brings a whole new experience, a whole new perspective on things, and that's amazing.
Yep.
And then, it progresses a little bit. Everybody gets a camera on top of their drone, and now, the thing that you see every single day that you found, this new perspective on, you can share with the world, and we're all sitting here in awe, and we're like just glued to the set, and we just think this is something cool and crazy, neat, but it's, we're actually sitting here looking at history from years and years. That blows my mind. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna quit geeking on that one and keep moving forward because I'm just geeking on this one. I know I'm gonna go over watching videos tonight, but
Yeah, man.
whatever.
Any questions you want to ask? Anything?
I love it, man. Oh well,
If I think of anything that comes to mind, I'll tell you.
absolutely. Well, I definitely know. Even at the end of the stream and everything later on tonight, I'm definitely gonna want a V2 on this just sometime later down the road because I'm loving this, and I know that I'm just gonna get off the stream here, and like 20 other questions that I had in my head are just gonna pop up, and I'm gonna go, dang, I could have asked this, that. So I know I'm gonna have more. But all right, so you moved away from the bando. I pulled out your last and your latest video, the what is it? Not easy.
The day after the bando. Not easy. This was the day after the bando. So
okay.
This is my friend Zoe FPV from Trinidad.
Okay.
And anybody that comes over to hang out with Ben Jumbie, we have to go and hit a couple spots.
Sure.
So this was the day after the bando, and I was convinced that I could Matty flip this little putt here. But it was a more chilled flight, just cruising around that golf course.
I love this.
It's an old golf course that isn't really used that much anymore.
Right. Your style though, your style is what I really enjoy. Is like you keep that nice low profile. I'm a sucker for the ground effects of the ground coming at
Yeah,
you.
me too.
I'm a sucker there.
Yeah.
I never surfed, but I used to longboard, and I used to bomb hills and stuff, and like the Lords of Dogtown and that whole surfing culture movement was really what inspired me, like when I skated back in the day. And so like that was the closest I could get to surfing, was getting as low as I could possibly to the concrete and just watching, you know, the gravel come at me. And so, like I said, I'm a sucker for the ground effects already, but your style, you throw it up there, you have a nice twist into, you know, into whatever it is you're doing, but you flow out of it. It's not a correct, it's just a
influences
yeah,
my flights a lot. So
absolutely.
When you see me flying hard and aggressive, it's because I'm in a hard aggressive mood.
Sure.
And when I'm flying like this, you know, I'm more chilled out. Probably had just take a little smoke or something and relax.
Sure.
You know.
Absolutely. So, would you say that you are a very, like, when you go out and fly, are you very precise in what you want out of today's flight, or are you just like, you know, let's see where this goes. Let's see what the wind takes us, kind of
sometimes
feel.
Yeah. Sometimes, like this video, I would go out and it's just, you know, whatever happens.
Sure, absolutely.
Whatever I feel to do at the point in time.
Very
but
cool.
a lot of the time, I do go out with a mission. Like my next mission is to get that double trippy spin, where you start your trippy spin rotating clockwise, and then halfway you switch and rotate anti-clockwise.
Oh yes.
I don't know if there's a name for that maneuver, but
I know what you're talking about, like kind of the TikTok motion thing. We've seen it in a couples, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I want it.
So the first thing I started doing is practicing trippy spins on my bad side, so I could go mid trippy spin, you know, rotating one way to rotating the opposite way, mid trippy spin. So I'll go out with, you know, and just try that, you know, and crash every single time. But that was the mission for that day.
So do you practice live, or like when I say live, like do you go outside and find the spot and that's your practice grounds that day, or like are you a sim kind of guy, or like how does that work?
I hate simulators.
Oh really? All of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not cheating.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know how to put it, but it's not
really flying. Yeah, no, it's not really flying.
It'll give you bad habits.
I can see that.
I know people that can trippy spin in a sim and then tried it in real life and just can't do it in real life, but can do it in the sim.
I see how it goes.
You then have to retrain. You then have to reteach yourself how to do it in real life. Might as well just go straight into doing it in real life.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like to sit. If I have to sit behind a computer to play a game,
sure.
It's going to be Call of Duty. It's going to be Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or something like that. I'm not going to sit in front of a computer and do something that I do in real life.
Okay, so
that's my thought.
That last interaction, that last bit of sentencing and stuff right there is exactly the reasoning why I made and started KwadCorner in the entirety in the first place. Like I love people. I love the interaction. I love communication. I love the history and the stories that you have and things like that. Like I love that whole ordeal. And so FPV opened up this community of people in this like mind, but like your day-to-day activities are your own. Like I'm sitting here watching this amazing drone video, and if I've never seen you, if I've never talked to you on a Discord, or you've never vlogged or whatever on your videos, I can only assume who you are, what you are, you know, what you're doing, blah blah blah, and everything. And I think it's so cool to like break it down and be like, when Jumbie wants to hang out and play a video game, he's sitting here playing Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. when I sit down and I want to play a video game, it's probably Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty or something like that. Like that's so cool to me that you're sitting on an island, you know, thousands and thousands of miles away from me. Completely different lifestyle, everything else, and then there's these small little snippets that bring everybody together. That's that's so crazy to me. That's so cool. Well, okay, so we're moving on. Like I said, I'm gonna probably end up going a little bit longer on my stream. I'm okay with it. You could stay in for as long as you want to. I know you're working with what you got pretty much, and again, I want to thank you so much for hanging in there because everything has been top notch tonight. Man. Honestly, everything I
love the vibe.
Oh, bro, it's been going perfect.
It was Sean the Don who really got me to start, you know, putting more videos on YouTube and actually getting more involved in the community. Yeah.
Well, he is the reason for the season.
Yeah, man. And before him, I just kind of felt like nobody really cared about a noob, you know, somebody now coming into FPV.
No.
You know, it's kind of harsh. You could get a short end of the stick really, really easy.
Sure, absolutely.
I made a few enemies, you know, in FPV, saying the wrong things at the wrong time.
Oh,
you know,
I think we've all been there.
Nowadays, and nowadays with the whole war between, you know, digital and analog, you know, it's just like, come on, man, let's just come together and fly.
Yeah. It's all about all about having fun and getting that shared feeling again. I totally feel you, man. Absolutely. Well, that's why I'm saying, like, regardless of how long we go tonight, after the end, I'm definitely gonna want a V2. So we'll figure that out in the long runs and stuff. But so we moved past the video section for you. We're into the Get on Stream Tuesday tab, so we're gonna check out and see what else everybody else is doing. And I mean, these will even bring up questions as we watch them. But so we got a little Instagram short for us from my man Specimen FPV. So we've got some things coming up in
EBR, boy. EBR been stepping it up, man.
Oh, dude, EBR is
like loving his stuff, boy.
EBR is another one of those amazing international pilots that's just stepping his game up.
Out for the gusto, self-titled.
Can't regulate the volume on Instagram. This is Specimen FPV.
So while you do that, I'm gonna take a leak.
Absolutely, go take a leak. You know, grab some water, do your thing. Come on back to us at any time. Win Jumbie, everybody. He is our man. He's been in the hot seat. He's been an amazing sport this entire stream, and it has been an amazing time. I am having a blast. Like I said earlier, I know that once I end this stream, this is dope. Once I end this stream, there's going to be so much that comes to mind that I forgot about. Are these all e-bikes? This is fucking cool. Like, they look like all like little dirt bikes, but they all look kind of electric. Or enduro styled. That's pretty rad. Very nice. Specimen FPV, everybody. Go check him out. That's my dude. He's hanging out in Florida. Oh, man. I've been missing the chat like crazy. I'm sitting here watching the live chat replay on my Twitch app, and it apparently has fallen behind. Because I'm falling way behind. What up, MFR? Props off. CJ! CJ's one that I've been bugging for a V2, so we'll be looking out for a V2 with Mr. CJ in the future, hopefully, very soon. Let's see. We got a second one from my man Specimen coming out. Another little Instagram reel. I can't regulate volume via Instagram. Ah, he's back. I can hear. Absolutely, dude. Like I said, you've been perfect all night.
We have no tall buildings on the island, right? The tallest building on the island has to be no more than 2 stories by law. So that's one
Really?
thing you've never seen in any of my videos is a building dive, because there are no tall buildings.
You know what? I never thought
So
about
I watch
that.
these videos and I'm like, oh my god, I want to dive a tall building so friggin' bad.
So what's the
Because I've
largest
not
building
been
that you've ever done?
to
Or
Canada.
the not building,
I've
the
been to Canada since I got into FPV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the biggest building I've actually flown around is that Mega Bando.
Well then, okay, so what's the biggest thing that you've dove? I'm sure because everybody see
Yeah, you got
even
it?
every little thing has been, you know, next to nothing. Next to nothing. Keep going. So you're talking about diving coconut
Yeah.
trees.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the tallest thing I dove was a cell tower, but I lost my quad diving a friggin' cell tower. So
When you say lost
not
your
gonna
quad,
try
what do you
diving.
mean? Like you
So the
lost
cell towers are where the cell towers are. There's a lot of bush around it, like almost
Sure.
like deep bush, forested area.
Right.
And I shouldn't have been trying to dive that tower, but
I mean,
my Wi-Fi is probably starting to.
hey,
up.
you're absolutely fine. We'll take what we can get. We've had an amazing time with you so far. So, all right. So
Yeah.
you're mid ring around the cell tower. The video's good so far.
Yep. And yeah, I went for the dive, a video cut out, and then that quad has no return to home or anything like that.
No beeper.
Beeper, but the bush was just so thick.
Oh, sure. That's
Yeah.
oh man, that's unfortunate. Well, you know, if anybody
And,
ever
you know-
finds it, you're the only guy with drones on the island. You know, you should be pretty easy to get a
Yeah.
hold to, right?
Went back a couple of times looking through the bush there and just just couldn't find it.
That's crazy.
And it really sucks because it was on my birthday.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was a birthday flight. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a birthday flight today. Charged up my packs and went to dive this cell tower.
Well,
that's another reason why I never bought GoPros, because
Sure.
I know I'm gonna lose a drone at some point.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't afford to
absolutely.
lose a $700 camera.
that's why I buy a lot of these cheap like knockoff GoPros. Where a GoPro is $300-400, I'll spend $50 on a piece of plastic that records in 1080p because it's a piece of plastic that if I smash for $50, it's a little bit different than $400 or $500
That's how I
GoPro.
could have afforded the 707 Black.
Yeah.
Because now they're on 11. Everybody wants the 11. So guys
Absolutely.
selling off their 8s and the 7s really cheap.
Yeah. I've been looking at a few myself. So this is
You
drone.
asked earlier.
Oh yeah, go
The
ahead.
question you asked earlier about the local shops. There is
Yes.
one local guy that started an FPV store on the island in Trinidad,
Oh, okay, cool.
but he Axis drones. So you might have seen Axis drones
Yeah.
hashtag or tagged
Yeah,
in
yeah,
my
yeah.
videos. Yeah, Axis drones is our local FPV store.
Very
but
cool.
He has the same problem with restocking. So a lot of the time things
Absolutely.
are out of stock.
Sure.
But yeah, we do have that one store in Trinidad, and I'm really happy because other than that,
That's very
no
cool.
other option.
Well, you always got to support that local, keep the hobby rolling
yeah.
in the community. So that's awesome that you guys have at least just one, RC shop.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
so this video is
you know,
drone
something
poison.
Like a motor, you need a motor or something.
Yeah.
to grab it from.
I would imagine his stock and things are pretty limited then, so you have like a handful of options.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So if you want something specific, I'm assuming you have to order it. Is it easier ordering it through him, who has a storefront and a shop and possible, I'm assuming a license or something? Is it easier for him, or is he gonna have pretty much the exact same issue with customs?
for things like lipos,
Yeah.
it's much easier to get them from him when he has them. He's always out of stock because as soon as
Sure.
he gets them in, everybody rushed in
Absolutely.
like mad ants to grab as many lipos from him as possible, because his price is the same as what you would pay online, minus, obviously there's no shipping and no customs fees because he's local.
Very nice.
It's much, much more feasible to get lipos from him because he has that wholesale deal with China or wherever.
Right. So you're flying China Hobby Lines, right? Is that what you said you were flying China's?
China Hobby Lines, CNHL Black. Yeah.
Very nice. Have you been able to try like anything else?
Well, the ones I've tried are what I ordered outside of. Not locally
right on.
through Access.
Very cool.
But I tried tattoo. Those tattoo packs are really, really good. But
yeah, they're
expensive.
Yeah, I was about to say I really like the R lines and the tattoos as well, but yeah, they're a little bit pricey. Well, that was an epic fail by Drone Poison there smashing in, and we got Air Nerd says this is love, absolutely smashing. Get what I did there? Haha. Alright, Air Nerd. So this is love. Alright. So inspiration for videos and things like that comes from, your Ladrib and stuff like this. How did you get to a point to where you were comfortable behind the video, like vlogging? Like, how was that? Nice trippy spin there, Air Nerd.
I'm still not comfortable.
Come on, man. No, you're a natural behind.
Ladrib was more in the early stages, and that's another reason why I think I would have progressed a lot faster in FPV if I wasn't trying to emulate other pilots.
No. That's where you start.
FPV. Yeah, you're kind of trying to fly like Ladrib or trying to fly like Mr. Steel or Stingy, or you're trying to emulate. And your own personal style just gets stifled, and you can't really get to express yourself.
I feel that.
As soon as I started doing that, just flying for myself and trying to feel my own style emerge, that's when I actually started to fly a bit better, I think.
So if you don't care to fly with a GoPro, as far as like you said you don't really watch your videos. Do you watch your like current-ish videos, or is it just like the old videos that you don't go back and watch?
I have a couple. I have a playlist actually with my personal favorites.
Okay, so you do go back and watch them.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the ones that I don't have tagged as my personal favorites, I wouldn't go back and watch them because you just kind of feel to delete them.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this looks so bad. Look at that horrible mistake, and
Well, hey man, we all gotta start somewhere.
Because you learn. Yeah, exactly. You have to start somewhere. Yeah.
And it's just it's a good way to see where you came from. Just like Air Nerd sending us a little DVR.
It's so weird though. It's so weird because some days you just can't fly. Some days you just suck.
Yeah, that's true.
And then some days you know everything's just working out and linking up and it just works.
So that gives me another good question. Okay, so we got next up. That was Air Nerd throwing down some nasty trippy spins. Hell yeah, Air Nerd, get you some. Next up, I got Master Rochi with the little DJI DVR video FPV GemFam hobby. You know the drill. Let's go. Okay, so you were just talking about like sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. So when we watch your videos, we are accustomed to a Windjumby tropical paradise. Whether it be an abandoned, destroyed building, or you're out on the beach, or you're out in the bush, chilling around some trees. It is a gorgeous, beautiful day. The sun is out. The breeze is in the air. Like we see all the gorgeous shit. When I'm imagining being on the island, being that close to the equator, when it's nasty, It's nasty. Yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Sometimes you'll go weeks without being able to go out and fly because it's rain. We had a really bad rain season, so we have 2 seasons.
Okay.
A wet season and a dry season. It's rainy for 6 months out of the year, and then it's dry for the other 6 months out of the year.
Wow.
So
wow.
this is the start of our dry season. So you'll notice in my next next 10 videos, let's say for instance, you'll notice that it's not as green as it was. You'll notice the area drying up, and you might even see some areas burnt.
Sure. Huh.
And yeah,
that's crazy.
but we get better weather for flying because there's no rain, but it's really dry and hot.
So okay, so what's like a typical Tobago day? What like just like what's it like when you wake up versus the midday to the evening and everything else? What's like a typical dry season day?
Yeah, well, long days, really long days. So like a full 12 hours of daylight.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, from 5:30 in the morning to or 6 in the morning to 6 p.m.
Wow.
Hot sun. Yeah. Sunrise to sunset, full 12 hours.
So it's sleep schedule then, I would assume. I mean, it's in my head. I'm sitting here like, what time does he go to bed? What, like if it's up for 12 hours, he's got to be awake for 12 hours, right? But I mean, I know that is not the case. I know you're just a normal person just like me and you, but okay, so I would assume if there's sun for 12 hours, there's got to be a lot of like blackout shades and eye masks or something being worn. Like how do you get around having 12 hours of straight up sunlight? Like I think that sounds great, but
out. Yeah, a lot of the buildings here are concrete boxes, and you would think that, man, you live in a Caribbean country, won't those concrete boxes be hot? But we have air conditioning running constantly in our homes.
That's crazy.
And, buildings.
So
yeah, like literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the government buildings, the banks, and so on. Their air conditioned units don't turn off. They run
so crazy. Okay, so I guess that brings up another like island question, like like power and electricity and all that other stuff. I'm assuming like water and wind and everything else. Like
we're not green. We're not green yet at all. We have a lot of oil.
Yeah.
We export our oil to you guys and to Europe.
Oh.
We have some of the most oil wells in the Caribbean.
Crazy. So, okay.
Yeah, everything. Gas is quite cheap actually.
Right.
For our cars and running things like generators. Our electricity is produced by diesel generators by the company.
How cool. Okay. Yeah. So much stuff I just don't know. That's just so fascinating to me. Very cool. Okay, so we'll just keep on moving. So I keep this rolling. That was Master Roshi. Next up, we got one. So this is one that I actually just put out. This is my first and last rip of. I called it the Roost one, but it was a rooster frame, an Armatin rooster that met up with a Source one, and B-Rad gave it to me, but I was flying digital, testing this thing out, getting it ready for the Rippies, and having a good time, having a good flight. No digitalization, no nothing, and lost it.
To one of those FPV events, Rippies or something. I've never been to any.
Well, hey man, maybe we should just do the FPV Rippies out at Tobago next year. I'll put a word.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'll put a bug in Miss Dawn's ear and be like, when Jumbie said he would host the whole thing, he's got a place for us. He said he'd hook us up with a place to stay. Like, it's going to be great. Bro, I would love to come down there.
Vacay, a little island vacay.
Absolutely. So okay, so there's another island question for me, for us here in the States, and really a lot of places around the world. You know, a vacation is to the Caribbean, to Jamaica, to wherever. You know, a very tropical location and stuff like this. What about for you? When Jumby wants to go out for a vacation, I'm sure you're not looking for the next beach. You know, like where are you going for a vacation?
I'm Canada. I'm looking at those videos, everybody flying around in snow and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I would love to come and spend some time. They're like, what? You crazy? You live on a beautiful island with palm trees. Why do you want to come in the snow? Yeah, but it's a good break. Like,
sure.
You know, to go snowboarding in Canada or something for 2 weeks.
You
know, and then
I can't. Tell me you snowboard. Tell me you snowboard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
snowboard. When I go
snowboard.
to Canada, there's no snow here.
Well, no, I understand, but I'm like, okay, so I don't snowboard, but I'm like picturing this going through in my head. It's like I'm up on the mountain in Canada. You know, I've got a lot of hosers and A's and, you know, all the typical Canada things. You know, I'm thinking all this, like, you know, pale white skin, you know, brown hair, blonde hair, blue eyes, stuff like this. That's, you know, very typical picture of what I'm thinking of Canada on the slopes. And then I'm picturing you coming down on a snowboard being like, hey man, and I'm just like, what the did you guys see that? What was that? That's all I can think of is like, you're tripping me out on the snowboard thing. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
That's so cool.
Going to Canada, being a surfer and going to Canada to visit my family every year, you know.
Right.
It's the closest thing to surfing.
Sure. Well, it only makes sense, but like, looking at you, seeing where you're putting these videos out from and everything, if I wouldn't have ever talked to you, I would have never known the Canada thing, and I would have just been like, oh, he's goofy, you know, Canada, Tobago, you know. But I really would have never in my entire life, even if we wouldn't have had this interaction and I saw you on your vlogs, never would I have thought that this guy has ever snowboarded. Like, and that's so cool. I don't know. It's all this shit blows my mind,
a lot
man.
of people that live on the island here have international roots, either European, like German or English or American, so a lot of people here are mixed, very mixed culture.
Very cool. That's something. That's something I think is very neat too.
Most of the people that live here have this sort of light tan color like me, because we have a really mixed up history.
So where are your origins? Also, this is another international. This is Pitt's Flying Eye out of Germany. I'm sorry, you're too interesting. Okay, yeah. So where are you from? Where are your origins?
So yeah, Pitt. Pitt's Flying Eye is German, right? And I've made a couple comments on his videos in German. My great grandmother was German.
Okay.
My grandfather is Russian. And
cool.
They had my mom in Canada. And that's how I got my Canadian roots from my mom. So going back to grandparents, my grandparents' roots are in Europe, Germany and Russia.
Okay, so I can kind of understand and see the travel and switch and everything there growing up. Grandparents and into mom. Now, mom being in Canada, dad being in Tobago, those aren't very close at all. That's not like a weekend trip. You know, that's a good jump. So how does that work out?
Yeah, we have some family from Trinidad. So my mom came to see if she could
Okay.
catch up with some of her distant relatives,
Okay.
and met my dad while she was here.
How cool. How cool. So
Yeah,
you're just so colorful from all over. I love that. It's just
yeah,
a
really,
mix
really
of
mixed
fucking
up.
everything. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
on top of your Caribbean roots, on top of the Canadian roots, you have, you know,
Mhm.
the grandparents and stuff from other parts of Europe and Russia and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you frequent any other countries, or do you like I guess talk to any other relatives or have any other family like super spread out like this?
I've never been across the pond. I've never been over to Europe, but I've traveled between Canada and the Caribbean. And this side of the world, I've traveled kind of up and down and around.
How
You know,
cool
the other
though.
Caribbean islands, and
How
you
cool.
know, New York and Canada.
How rad,
But
man.
most of the clientele that I work with here at work that are involved in kiteboarding and tourism,
Sure.
they're mostly English and German tourists. So we don't get an American clientele.
Really?
So, like, let's say for spring break, nobody's coming to Tobago. They're all going up to like the U.S. Virgin Islands or Bermuda or Jamaica. So our main tourist is Europeans, English, German,
But you guys are a
Scandinavian.
primarily English speaking country, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we are very Americanized in terms of what we get in our
Sure.
media, TV and stuff like that.
So
Not many people travel here from America.
is it just
It's kind of
because it's
hard to get here from America.
okay, I got you. I was just wondering if
Yeah.
it was just like a tourist thing, like there's nothing to do, or you guys are just not accepted of tourists. But I think that would be crazy, like to be like, hey babe, let's
Yeah.
this year let's go down to Tobago. I know a guy.
It's just
You know,
ease of access.
I see what
Yeah,
you're
ease of
saying.
access. Like there are direct flights from Frankfurt, Germany, Gatwick,
Right.
Heathrow. You know, you could literally get on a plane in Heathrow, and 8 hours later you're here in Tobago.
Got you.
From the US, even though you're actually closer, it takes you longer to get here. You have to take at least 3 or 4 different connecting flights.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know? Yeah, so
That
you might
does
have to go
sound
to
like a
Florida, and then from Florida to Bermuda, and then Bermuda to Trinidad, and it's very discouraging for people. So they don't normally. If you
I
had, for instance, a JetBlue or something that was flying
sure.
direct flights here every
Yeah.
week, I'm sure you probably would have come here for a week or two with your family.
Oh, absolutely. That's so
Yeah, it's just
crazy.
not really connected very well.
Yeah. Well, that's so nuts.
Yeah.
So like events and things like we're so used to getting on our phones and going, hey, uh such and such is coming to town next week, let's get tickets, and go. What's something like that like in Tobago?
Well, we have our own sort of entertainment industry. It's all based around Carnival. So
Oh,
our
Carnival, yeah,
Carnival
yeah,
season,
okay,
Carnival, yeah. So our Carnival is in February,
okay,
next month actually.
very
So I think
cool.
the 15th or something of February. But around that time we have soca. It's soca music. It's a bit like calypso.
Yeah,
I don't know if you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I guess you haven't
yeah, absolutely.
heard of any. But it's a very high fast-paced music, high
Okay,
energy, fast-paced music.
okay,
So a lot of our live performances is mostly that type of music,
right,
and reggae, obviously, the Bob Marley
absolutely,
style reggae.
absolutely,
Yeah.
very cool, man.
And so most of our events are actually free open air parties. So
Oh, cool.
they'll make their money from the sales of drinks and
Yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah.
bar and stuff like that.
Very
So we have a
cool.
lot of free open air beach parties that you could just show up and go and listen to music.
Well, that's so rad. I would love to come down there and just experience like the culture and things. Like if I go places, sure, I want to do a few touristy things, but honestly, what really gets me is really more of like stuff you don't see every day, you know, or don't see as a tourist or whatever. Stuff that they're not showing you. The things that like you have to live there to see and to experience. Those are the things that I think are really cool. So
we always take it for granted because we see it and doing the same. We see it every day.
Absolutely.
So, you know, a lot of the time I'm just not too amazed at what you guys are seeing.
Right.
Know? And then I'm reminded. It's good because I'm then reminded of how beautiful the island they live on actually is.
Absolutely. Well,
because you could kind of forget. You can kind of forget and go into that sort of mode where, you know, everything sucks and life is hard and everything's expensive and inflation, and you kind of don't take that step back and appreciate.
Yeah, you can definitely fall into like a whole kind of pit of despair kind of thing in FPV if you're not up and up.
The news will do that to you if you listen to the news.
Well, that you actually are helping me so well with transitions and things, and you don't even know it. So I just wanted to touch on something real quick. That was the Cincinnati Quad Racers. That was a little snippet from last year's drone race at the Museum of Air Force, or the U.S. Air Force. They do a drone race every year with Tiny Whoops. It's really amazing. It's right around this point in time of the year. I believe it was February 28th, I believe. I can't remember the exact date, but if you were like me and you can't remember dates and things, 608 and I have been in cahoots, and we have been coming up with a couple different things. Now, what is this? This is KwadCorner.com. I'm just going to do a quick selfish little plug. Hold on there. Let's go back to the home page. KwadCorner.com, a place for all things FPV, a little place where you can check out the most recent stream. Last week was RAF. This week we are going to have Windjumby, so this will be updated soon. We're also working on a couple other things, but one thing that we have been working on, we have a community calendar that we've set up, and you can come to KwadCorner.com, check out our calendar, and see all of the like events and things that are coming up. Maybe you got some homie meetups, or if you're just looking for the next live stream, we have all these things. Everything's clickable, so you can basically get all your hot links. But it's a good way for you to stay in the know about what's happening in the community, so you don't fall into that lull like when Jumby and I were talking about. So you don't get discouraged. So you have a community behind you to hang out and be there. So go when you get some time. Just check out what we've got over there, KwadCorner.com. It's kind of cool. 608's put a lot of work into that thing, man. So Cincinnati drone race will be coming up. I believe it's the 28th. But check back on the calendar for the next date. We will have that. Next up, we have Raf Nito and some more of our island boy, Windjumby, everybody. He's been an amazing sport all night.
Yeah, I just love the vibes. I love the vibes. That's why I ended up gravitating more towards streams like your stream, Donnie.
We appreciate that.
Even Bot Grinder had a cool thing going for a while there.
That's kind of where I got my inspiration, was watching a couple of like Bot Grinders streams I'm blanking on the other one.
It was just like, you know, anything goes. That sort of free, you know, that sort of free feeling. It didn't feel too regimented or scripted.
Absolutely.
You know?
No, you wanna hang out.
That's why we in FPV in the first place. We're in the FPV just to have fun and fly these drones and bash them.
Well, and even that, I mean, we fly these drones in what we call freestyle, you know, and then that within itself is saying a lot. It's, you know, one word, but break it down, it's into two words. Those two words mean a lot, you know, free style, you're free to do whatever the hell you want to.
Your style.
Your
it's like
style.
interpretive dance.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you want to fly through that bando at, you know, a 75% or degree tilt, and you don't hit a single trick, but your speed is all over the place. That's great. That's amazing. That is freestyle. That is just as impressive as the guy who has a 0 camera tilt and can do all these amazing backflips and this, that, and the other. Like, it's your style. Do it how you want to. Don't get discouraged. Nobody's telling you it's a wrong or right way to do it. Just get out there as long as you're having a good time. You know, that's all it's about, man.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
If you could describe your perfect fly day from morning till you go home. A perfect,
What
a
would that be
perfect,
like?
yeah. What's a perfect wind jumpy? I'm gonna kill it today. Fly day. What's that like? Waking up, having your Wheaties, your
little
coffee.
bit of everything. And you know, I've never had a full day of FPV yet, ever.
Really?
Like, you know, a full day where, no, I've never had one. Where you're committed and you have everything, your packs charged, you even have a field charging setup where you know you're going to spend the entire day flying FPV.
Right.
I've never had one of those. Mainly because that comes with a community. You need to have at least a few FPV pilots together to have a day of flying.
I can feel that.
You know, I'm not going to go out and fly all day by myself.
Yeah, and kind of waste the day away just on yourself. I feel that. The selfish feeling probably kind of creeps up on you after a while, and it's like, yeah, I could probably be doing something productive.
I could more say what a perfect session would be like. You know, a perfect session would be like
there you go.
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
Like I like to cool down with a sort of medium to long range flight.
Okay.
So I would come out and I would start off, you know, freestyling, close proximity.
Right.
You know, preferably, you know, bandos, trees, anything, whatever the sport offers.
Right.
But my last couple of packs, I would like to cool down and just cruise and do some longer or medium range flying.
Hell yeah. Raph?
So I like to kind of cool down. I don't like to end on a high note.
Sure, absolutely.
That sort of adrenaline, that high adrenaline amped up feeling, you get?
So, but you're sitting here and you're kiteboarding and you're surfing and shit. Like, you're a high energy man. How are you sitting here talking to calm down? I guess you gotta relax a little bit. So, if you're not windsurf or if you're not kiteboarding, if you're not, you know, surfing and you're not flying, what do you do? What's a good way for you to just relax and just, you know, be Orion?
I'm a bushman. I like to spend a lot of time in the bush.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take a nice long hike or walk up to a waterfall.
Yeah.
You know, chill out. Yeah, you just depending on if day or night or whatever, and just chill out, you know, take a swim in the river, because I work in the sea. When I do have time for myself, I go the opposite way. I go into the forest and spend more time in fresh water.
That makes sense.
I am salt water every single day.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I would go up to the waterfall and
bounce.
take a little hike in the bush or ride, a nice little mountain bike ride.
That's awesome. Oh, so you're a mountain bike rider as well? Hell yeah, I can see that. We got Pitts Flying Eye coming out of Germany with another sunny day. So what's mountain biking like up there? I would imagine it's decent up there. I mean, you got hills, mountains, and you got a little bit of everything.
We have an event coming up in May Mountain Bike Madness. I don't know if you remember last year around May.
Yeah.
I did a chase, mountain bike chase.
Yeah.
That was so that was the training runs for the event.
Oh, cool.
I actually work during the event. I don't have time to fly and chase mountain bikers because I'm a marshal in the event.
Cool.
So the only flights I got were the training day before the actual event.
So
we do have a lot of trails.
You're a very active guy. I mean, you just
Yeah, I can't sit still too long.
I could see that. Okay, so we haven't really touched on it too awful much. You said you have three little girls. They're all grown and out. My question is, are any of them interested in Dad flying?
Interested in my flying?
Yeah, and you flying.
Not that much. My youngest daughter is more interested in surfing, skateboarding, and like kiteboarding and stuff.
Oh, how awesome!
But not so much. They like the photography side of FPV.
Sure.
So they like more cinematic, my more cinematic style videos. They're not so much into the freestyle.
It's still
so the nice long range runs down beaches, and they really like that sort of cinematic style flying.
So when you make a new video, do you go run off and show them or tell them about it, or do they just not really care?
Well, they're normally the first ones to like it.
There you go. You gotta have the fan base.
Instagram
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they have their own channels set up for their own art and their own little creative projects.
Hell yeah.
My current logo, the torso one, not the logo on the t-shirt.
Right.
This was a logo I came up with. But the full torso logo with the goggles and the mask was done by my oldest
Oh, no
daughter.
kidding. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was actually hand drawn on a light
oh, no
light
kidding.
table.
Yeah. How cool, man.
So
that's awesome.
He's really into animation. So they do these cartoon strips for toons.com, and they have their own little cartoon series.
No kidding. How cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Well, shout out to your girls in their spot. Do you you gotta be proud of that, man. You got skateboarders and surfers and artists for little ones running around. That's pretty awesome, man.
A real creative side, and they definitely got some of that from me.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, congratulations
I like to do
to
things with my hand. I like to build and fix things,
yeah, absolutely. You know? I'm the same exact way. I like the feeling of
I guess you
something
have to
in my hand doing something.
FPV.
Yeah.
We're always fixing something. If you don't like to fix things, FPV is not the hobby.
I had a stint there where everything that I touched just broke. Every quad that I built broke, and I was so sad and upset. And I was just getting to the point.
The stories, and
I can imagine.
It will bring tears to your eyes because for instance, I burnt a brand new Rush 1 watt VTX. Just by soldering it up wrong, and it's just a puff of magic smoke.
Sure.
And it's
and
not
you're
like
waiting forever. Dude, I can only imagine.
The guys at Pyrodrone. This is why I'll always shop at Pyrodrone. You wouldn't believe the guys at Pyrodrone understood that it was kind of noob era, and it was my fault, but it wasn't all 100% my fault because the labeling was a little bit upside down, the way it came out of China, and those guys refunded me that money for that VTX.
That's really nice, man. That's really good. Well, that's awesome.
Only Pyrodrone would do something like that for you because
absolutely,
they're all pilots, and they all know exactly what the hobby is about.
Like I said earlier, you're giving me all these transitions. I haven't said thank you to any of the sponsors or any of the homies that support us here on Quad Corner either. But when Jumbie makes it easy to just do this stream, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm kicking 608 out, and it's me and Win Jumbie or Quad Corner now. Sorry, bro. We're going coastal. I'm kidding. Love the man. He's been doing so much work. But we do have to give out some love. We've got a couple people, and Pyrodrone is definitely one of those people that gives us a lot of love. They support us locally in my own personal chapter in Kansas City Multi-Rotor. They support us in the IO ventures. or at least they supported us last year. They'll be helping out with us again this year when 608 and I host International Open in Muncie, Indiana. They'll be sponsoring our winner of the freestyle competition and be sending our winner to the West Coast Throwdown as well. So big sponsors there. Shout out to all those guys at Pyro. Amazing people. Get all your parts from Pyro. Like when Jumbie said, they're all racers. They're all pilots. They all understand, the hobby, the sport, whatever. So go get yourself, some good people, some good love. If you're in the Midwest and you need something quick, you can go check out Good Venture Drones. They also carry the Mobili gates. Those are amazing little tiny whoop gates. Let's see who else. We've got Heart of America and the Spec Team Racing. We've got 533 with the KC Tiny League at checkout for 15% off. Team Maniacs, where you can get the oily framed, the new Cinewoop that's coming out. Get yourself some Lipo Buddies and things. Definitely go check out the Rippies and stuff. Which brings us into our Discords, where we have our... I was just granted a point in the Island FPV Discord by our good friend Mr. Windjumbie here. So go give some love to that Island FPV Discord. We've got the Prop Dusters with Tom Servo. We've got Super Critical with Dan Z and Dad Bod. We've got the Goon Squad with Between Two Props on Wednesday with Chad the Gang. We've got FPTV. They've got a live stream every Friday with Miss Dawn. We've also got the Rippies coming right up and around the corner. And I think that's it as far as all the love, so we can get back to talking about how awesome you are and your amazing island lifestyle, while we watch a little bit of Baltimore Ravens shot by our very own Lord Wolf. So, okay, so this video will bring up a good question. So being in Tobago, having the restrictions and things as you guys do. You said it was the CCA or CSA?
The CAA.
CAA, okay. So CAA, you have to be registered with the CAA just to fly drones in general, correct? Like recreational or anything else. So is the registration for recreation different than registration for like commercial use? So if you were to want to use again your drone for carrying the banner and things like that, is it a different process going the commercial route versus I just want to fly my tiny whoop in Tobago?
It just costs more money.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's yeah, it just costs more money because then you're now a business and
I got you.
You're basically just saying that you're now going to earn money flying
Okay.
your drone.
Okay, so yeah, so now
you
I'm
just have to
profiting
pay
from
more
it.
money to get that license.
Got
Yeah.
you. Okay, well I just didn't
Which
know.
is- yeah, but we have a very relaxed IRS type system here, meaning that you can earn tax-free money pretty easily, and it's not illegal. There's a lot of loopholes.
Sure.
So, for instance, if I have a private license to fly, not a non-commercial license, and you hire me to fly around your wedding and pay me to do that, that is actually allowed.
Okay,
Because I'm
so
using my own property, my own drone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
nobody's gonna come. There's like no patrol officers. Nobody's gonna come and do any investigation. They're not that strict.
So it's really more of, unless somebody is hot and bothered and calls on you, nobody's really gonna like give you a problem. That's okay.
Nah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of a relief then. Yeah, I just didn't know if like, yeah. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, no, just saying it makes it much easier for us to be able to go and fly in different places and not have to worry about getting, stopped by the police. I mean, I
Right.
still have I have everything on my phone. So if for whatever reason the police decides to say, hey, what are you doing flying drones here? I can show them my CAA email that
Right.
states that, hey, I'm allowed to fly drones on the island. So
That's so cool. That's so cool.
and on their website, they have all the rules, laws that you're supposed to follow. So they have the no-fly zones, the altitude you're supposed to remain under. All that information is on their website.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, we're gonna
But
keep
it's definitely
rolling.
nothing as strict as the FAA. I see you guys have a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
problems with the FAA.
Yeah. Well, so the reason why I asked is like recreationally as it sits right now, recreationally you are advised to register your drones that weigh anything over 250 grams. You are advised, as in like you are supposed to, but it's as of current it is very relaxed to the point to where it's whatever. Now if you start going into a commercial, kind of the same ordeal applies. If I have a drone and my buddy's like, hey man, will you take some drone shots of my wedding, sure, I could do that. But if I wanted to be like, hey, kind of like what Lord Wolf just did with shooting with the Baltimore Ravens, I have to have a license for that. I have to have a Part 107, certificate and things from the FAA saying that I'm not only a drone pilot, but I am a knowledgeable drone pilot. So that's where that question kind of stemmed from. But we got a lot of scrutiny up here, and it's only gonna get worse, and it's gonna be bad for some time, and then it's slowly gonna get better. But yeah, it's gonna get bad there for a second.
You guys have a lot of problems with Karens and people like that.
We just have a lot of problems with idiots in
they just
general.
see a drone and they freak out. They call the authorities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the opposite here. Everybody's interested in watching you fly, seeing how the drone performs. You actually bring a little crowd around you. People are like, wow, that's so cool, man. This is your drone. And as opposed to somebody calling the cops, hey, he's flying a drone around people. This is so unsafe.
Well, what's so crazy is that it is becoming such a regular thing. Like drone shows are a regular thing for 4th of July, celebrations here in the United States, or drones are all over the place in Japan and in different parts of Europe and stuff like that. Like drone culture just in general, whether it be freestyle FPV or you're shooting stuff with a Maverick, whatever, is all over the place. But like for us, when you look at hobby shops, very, very rarely do you ever see hobby shops with drone parts and things. And if they do, it's a very, very limited selection. Whereas, trains, model trains, RC cars and stuff are readily available. It's a little bit different world, but we're gonna get a lot.
The market moving a lot towards these bind and flies. Well, not even bind and flies, ready-made, pre-built drones.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people seem to be leaning more towards that production.
Well, it's
style.
It's so much easier to buy it pre-made than to build it and to figure it all out. But so Matt Raymond sent us. I'm Bot Grinder now.
The thing is, those same guys buying into it and then trying to tell you what you should do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, dude, I just built this drone from scratch. I'm not flying an avatar.
Well, the problem, exactly. The problem is like, yes, your thing flies great, but the moment you crash it, you'd have no clue, and you're going to be on the bench for 6 months as compared to the month and a half that it would have taken you if you knew what you were doing.
And
You know,
in my mind, I don't think that whether you put it in sport mode, manual mode, whatever, you will have to fly to suit the drone. You will have to change your inputs, whatever your brain, however your brain moves your fingers to suit the drone.
Right.
And I think it should be the other way around. My drone should fly like me.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have to fly like it wants to fly. So
absolutely.
that's why learning to tune and learning to build is really important in the hobby, I think.
I 100% agree.
Because it's like an interpretive dance, the drone has to be a part of your body so you can express the interpretive dance properly.
I 110% agree. A good example on that on my part, like, so my local buddy Matty FPV, an amazing pilot, but he is very, like, he knows where he's going. He knows where he's going to put the drone when he throws it up in the air and he flicks it off to the side. He knows where it's going to land, and he's, you know, decently precise with it. Whereas when I go out, I'm going to throw it in the air, and wherever it lands, I'm going to take that as, you know, the next turn, the next bank, and I'm going to use that part of, you know, the structure as, you know, the flow of my line or the dictation of where, you know, where I go. And he calls it like a fly by flow feel, like, you know, wherever I go, wherever it takes me, whatever I look at, you know, that's what I'm going to hit. Whereas he's a very precise pilot.
I think you only get that with a well-tuned quad and a quad with very low latency. It took me a while to get that sort of feeling where everywhere you want to go, you can put the drone there and you can go there, as opposed to like overshooting and like, oh no, I have to get this on the other pass, on the next pass around. Or I only now figuring that out over the last couple of months, you know. And
I feel it.
I could feel that my flying is improving because of that.
I mean,
because of, you know,
I think being self-aware in general is a trait that all people, all human beings in just general should have. That's being self-aware. Spatial awareness, just with your drone, I think, is another crucial part in growing within your FPV, you know, career, whatever have you. You know, if you can recognize that you throw your drone and you're a little unsure of where it's going, you know, if you recognize that and you can stop yourself and you can be like, hey, all right, where am I going with this, or where am I going with that, and you can tone that in, that makes a huge difference.
Yep, it does, definitely. And I found that looking further down the line really helped a lot. Instead of having to make these split-second decisions, you can look further down the line and make the decision. You know, like, okay, that is the gap I'm going to go through from way earlier, as opposed to coming up on it and being like, oh shit, I want to go through here.
So do you fly with music?
It took me a while to get used to it, because, you know, you show up at a spot and you get really excited.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You just want to do everything. Every gap you want to hit, you want to power loop everything, and you just get a bit lost.
Yeah, just get a little too excited and go too hard right off the bat. I feel that. So do you fly with music then?
Sometimes, it depends.
Okay. I was just wondering if that was something that like brought you down, kind of put you in that zen mode.
Kind of in a little bit of a
yeah.
I don't know what this video
Sometimes I prefer to have a specific song. You know, you would the same song that you plan to use in the video.
I feel that. I like that. So you kind of have the flow, the cadence already of the video in.
The final edit.
Hell yeah!
It makes the final edit much easier because you're already flying in time to the music.
Sure, and so you already know when something's going to drop, so you can kind of, you know, chorus your line into something like that. I like that. Hell yeah!
Yeah. So that's what I do. If I do listen to music, it's the same song that I'm going to use in the video.
Very nice.
Other than that, I just flying without listening to anything. I do use audio.
Oh, like an earphone?
Audio. Like Mr. Steel.
Shout out.
Yeah.
You and Matty FPV are the
Mostly-
only two pilots. Well, besides Mr. Steele, but you and Matty FPV are the only two pilots I know that use the audio. My VTX has a microphone, but I never use it.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you one reason why I started using audio. That delay, you're never flying directly in front of yourself. You're always flying a couple 100 meters away from yourself or more.
Right.
And when you do a punch out, let's say a power loop or a simple throttle change, you hear the sound later than it's actually happening because
Right.
sound travels so slow. So I found that when I use the audio,
Okay.
the sound, you focus on the sound you're hearing from the audio and not the sound you hear externally from the quad. And that gives you a really in tune feel. Like, you know, when you blip the throttle, you hear that immediately in your ears and not delayed.
Yeah, see,
So-
Matty's chiming in
Yeah.
right now. He's saying flying with audio is a game changer. Like,
After you fly with audio, you can't go back to flying without.
I've flown a couple times. I think it's for me right now. I'm just not in the habit of packing a single earbud with me and get into it. But I guess if
Use
it's
normal
working for
headphones.
you and Matty, I'm
These-
gonna have to.
These headphones I have on right now, I
Right.
actually fly with.
Oh,
And what
okay.
it helps me to do is with the Sky 04X gives you a stereo sound. It's mono, but it comes through the two heads, the left and the right.
Okay.
So with both earbuds in, I can really zone out.
Yeah,
like,
you can
get rid of
tune
the
out
outside
everything
world
out.
and focus. Yeah.
You
tune
know,
out
I never
everything.
thought about it like that. I'm gonna pack in a pair of headphones and bring them down to Florida when we go down to the Rippies. That'll be a good time.
Yeah.
All right. So the last
Another
video was
Another reason with the audio is if you're flying with other people, you know.
Oh,
your-
yeah.
Your quads are all out of sync.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that really
that
keeps
would
you
make
focused on the
sense.
sound of your own quad.
that would make a lot more sense. Like keeping you in that zone when everybody else is around. Because I am definitely that way. Like if I'm flying, like I can talk to you, but I can't focus on my flight the way I would if I was quiet. Or, I would have to zone out if I'm really trying to accomplish something like a race. I would have to zone out. Ooh, there you go. That actually might be a good idea for when I race to like zone me out. Yeah. Well, Maddie over here is sitting here just preaching your name. Win Jumbie is preaching right now. Preach on, brother. I feel you with the audio. I have an extra one for you. All right. He's got an extra bud for me for Florida. And what up, John Soto? Solo.
I don't know why more people don't use audio. To me, it just makes sense. You want to hear your motors and hear what's going on board your drone.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I just never really thought of doing it. It's never really been on my mind. But if you guys are preaching it so hard, I will now. But that was some fresh packs from Uptime FPV sent in by our Coder Electronics. We're gonna keep on rolling down. We got Tinker Tweak coming in at the prop shop. Let's go to YouTube.
Yeah, you'll feel the latency less with the audio. Everything feels more direct. As soon as you touch the throttle, you hear it in your ears, and your brain and your fingers, everything sync together. It just feels.
I'm gonna have to go get me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get me a pair of headphones. I know that it's nice to have it, and you can hear if your props are bent or, it's gonna give you an idea of whether your motors are good to take off. So, I think you're right. I don't really understand why it's kind of uncool. Maybe it's kind of like wearing a helmet when you ride a bicycle. It's just not cool to wear that headphone, I guess. But you're just bringing it back, man. Bring it back. So,
I think the single mono headphone, a lot of people don't like that single one-sided I went straight into using dual earbuds because I also didn't like.
I bet you that's a game
I didn't
changer.
want to have to order a special Mr. Steel earbud to be able
Right.
to listen to my good audio.
Or at least
so I just
chop
went
yours
ahead and
up.
jacked in a normal set of headphones.
I got you.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about being, jealous of having the cold and stuff like that. But so since you do have, the Canadian roots and the family and stuff, and you make that trip, like, do you have? I would assume that you have like, cold weather jackets and this, that, and the other. If you're snowboarding and things like that, like, are you the only one on the island with the jacket? Or at least like a very low view.
There's no point in bringing it back here with me. So everything is in Canada. But
I guess that makes sense.
A lot of people here travel a lot. They go to New York,
sure,
and, or Germany or England. So a lot of people here do have their cold weather garments for when they do decide to make the trip. So for us, living in the Caribbean,
right,
our vacations are normally to cold countries. Because we want to get away. We're not going to go on vacation in Jamaica and we're living in an island.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking about earlier when I was like, where does Windjumby go for a vacation? That's so crazy. Because, like, we're always trying to escape the cold. So, I'm originally from the state of Louisiana, so... I grew up and it was kind of hot and muggy and just warm and wet all the time. And I grew up until I was probably about 16. Probably about like 14. I don't know what 2000 was, but year 2000 was the first time we had ever seen snow like in real life. And I remember like we had a dusting, like it was a handful of snowflakes came down. And the entire city shut down, and nobody knew what to do. And then, like, you come up here, and it was amazing to have, all this snow, but I just want to get rid of it. I would take an island day over the snow any day, but that's so crazy to think that, you're full of island paradise, beautiful, weathered palm trees, and you want trees with no leaves and white, wet, nasty snow on the ground that causes people to drive like insane maniacs. I love that culture difference. It's so cool.
Totally different story. Yeah.
I love culture differences. It's just so neat and so fascinating. So we got another cultural difference here. This is Red X FPV. He is he's flying out of India. I know he's got a lot of scrutiny and issues of their own and with their customs and stuff. So he's still unfortunately not in the actual air, but he kills the sim. But like
he's still simming. I thought Red X. I remember at one point guys were trying to send stuff to him. They were trying to find a way to get it into him.
It's so hard, and it just makes me sit here and think of like how much we take that for granted. Like I ordered a set of 1S batteries for my Tiny Whoop 2 days ago, and they'll be here tomorrow. Like that to me is just normal convenience of having it, right here and there now. And then
that's why I'm down to this one pack, because I've been waiting, I don't know, almost 2 weeks now, so it should be here by tomorrow, I think.
Well,
my fresh set of 6S.
I also think having that limitation really pushes you in a different way that we aren't pushed. Like you've got one pack. You got to make that count. You gotta do something with that one pack.
No, there's the downside. I can't fly as hard as I want to because I know if I break something, I'm gonna be down for a long time.
Sure, but I mean,
that's.
I could see it as almost a payoff and a downside, like in the middle. Like, you have to be sure of what you're doing before you do it, because of, you know, it's going to take forever to get there. It's going to do this, which makes you have to practice. If you want it, you got to go for it. You gotta start small and work your way into it, and then when you're set and ready with that one pack, you can charge that one pack up, and you have, you know, that 2.5 to 4 minute flight to get whatever it is done, and then you got to go charge again and stuff. I like
a lot of the time you get good at mixing and matching and building things.
Sure.
Like most of my frames are Frankenstein frames.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That Source One frame has iFlight XL5 arms on it.
Oh, really?
Because I already broke all my Source One arms, and I have no more replacement arms with Source One.
That's crazy.
So I have to mix and match and make the arms from some other frame fit. So we're always trying to figure out some way, you know.
That's awesome.
A $40 frame, by the time you get it here, you end up spending about $150.
Sure.
Or a frame for $40, you know, I would have to spend like $150 in total just to get myself a new frame.
Jeez Louise, man.
So
that's
insane.
Sucks. Well, that there's not really a way around that. That really does suck. Like, I would love to be the guy that's just like, oh, you've got SL5 arms? I've got a whole bunch of Sedora and SL5 arms sitting in a drawer that I don't use. I mean, if that's something you could use, I would love to just send you a giant care package, but I would hate to make you spend your money in order to get something that somebody else sent to you as well, as like the possibility of it not getting to you.
Like Brave FPV really helped me out. I am actually still flying a lot of the parts in that Source One frame. When I lost my last and only drone in the river about a year ago, I had no more drones.
Right.
I lost my last drone in the nasty, dirty water river. But anyway, Brave FPV was like, hey, you know what? I have these drones here. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm going to send you. But I had to tell him how to package it. He had to take apart the frame. He had to take apart everything and then separate them.
Wow.
Package them individually as something random, just so that I don't have to spend a pound and a crown when it gets here. So I did get a
pound and a crown.
Yeah.
What,
pound and a crown. Yeah.
Is
that? Want to have to spend.
Is that a slang term? Is that a pound and a crown? No, I'm not begging. I love it, man. I love it. Give me more.
I just started thinking. It's actually a lot of our things come from England because we were a colony, English colony for the longest. Yeah. So that is an old English saying, you know.
I love it.
English pound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got where it was coming from, but it's just like, again, that cultural difference. Like, you guys are sitting there. I don't, you know, for us, I guess the equivalent is we pay an arm and a leg. Is our equivalent, you know, that's our saying equivalent, and then just to hear it on the other side of a pound and a crown, it's like, that
pound and a crown.
I love that.
You would hear that in England, like in the UK, you know, you would probably hear somebody say that in the UK. But we actually only been independent since 1962.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, before 1962, we were an English colony.
I did not know that.
And run by Britain, and we used pound and penny and farthings and English currency.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
So
a lot of the older people that are still alive on the island can remember when we were on the English rule, and we'll give you some stories of old.
I love stories, man. I love stories. I love old people older than me who are just like, hey, come on, let me tell you about this. And man, I'm all ears.
The thing,
I'm all ears.
The thing with that here is a lot of the old people don't want to talk about it because it was slavery.
Oh,
so
yeah.
A lot of our history isn't really talked about much because it was a bad experience.
I feel that.
So
I feel that.
There's like a gap where people don't really want to remember what happened, but
Yeah.
it's still there as part of our history. You know?
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, history, no matter good or bad, it makes, you know, it makes you who you are and where you come from, you know. It gives you that background story and things, and you know, again, I'm just super enthusiastic about all this tonight. I could honestly sit here and go for hours and hours and hours on end and just ask you stupid questions, because I'm very ignorant about things, and I just want to know. I find it fascinating and stuff. So like, it's so crazy, so
when
cool.
it comes to FPV, I always say that there is no such thing as a bad FPV video or anything like that. So
absolutely not.
I'm always supportive of everybody's channel, whether they have 2 subscribers and they're flying around shaking like that with a poorly tuned quad. I'm still glad that, man, you're up in the air and you experience freedom of flight.
You're still having a good time.
Keep going, and yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, you had enough fun to where you were like, you know what? I want to share this with everybody else. I had enough fun. Yeah. I want everybody else to see how much fun this was. I'm 110% in agreement. The only thing I don't agree with, you said every FPV video is a good one, except the ones that get weird with John Solo. He posts some good weird videos, so we'll see how good this one is. This is wine tasting as a sport to break up the monotony of the drones. We're definitely not watching 7 minutes of wine tasting as a sport.
So you think you know wine, the world's most exhilarating sport.
Okay. So something. Okay, how about that? Wine. Is wine a thing down on the island? Like, do you guys have a whole section of like a vineyard, being that close to the coast? I would imagine.
Not like vineyards and stuff like that. We have a lot of rum, made from sugarcane. So
nice.
Name any type of rum, and we have it. We have some of the best rum in the world.
I love a very spicy rum. I like a very nice spicy rum. I don't really have anything that I could sit here and say, oh, that's a good one. But
in terms of wine, you would get the normal wine that you would buy in any store. Local made wine is it's kind of like moonshine making.
Oh, okay.
You have to know, you have to know, speakeasy kind of thing. You have to know the right person, and you get to sample some different types of wine. But they make wine from all different types of things, rice, hibiscus flower, the flower.
Oh, hell yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I think is so cool, is what you have one, region to region is always, is always something really neat too. Because we're not going to have like a hibiscus wine, you travel somewhere else and that's just kind of the normal thing. I think that's so rad.
The difference between the two is enormous. If you were to ever confuse
so that brings up like an island question. Are you? I think he might have froze on me. Either that or he's doing a really good robot pose. But if you can hear me when you come back, I'm very curious as to, you were talking about the culture on the island being so vast. What's the cuisine like down that way? Did you send me a message? Let's see if he's back. Laptop died. Hey, no worries.
However, I don't think John's gonna let it go to his head. His olfactory sense is second to none in this business.
We're
another possibility here, just to up the stakes a little bit.
No shit, he's up in the stakes.
Paler color, and considering the plummy fruit and the abundance of wood.
Wood? Where's the wood?
This was so much fun.
Conversation devolved into wood.
Agreed, but there's a lot of new waves.
I'll send you a message if I can type
believe he's barking up the wrong tree with his
after I
he's gonna need to get off
finish up here. Thank you again. Send. All right, back into the stream. So when Jumbie, his let's see, Discord guest, we'll take that out. His laptop died, and he could not continue the stream. So the gremlins got the better of him, but he has been an amazing guest. I've had so much fun. Like I said, I have 1,000,001 questions that I would just want to ask because I'm weird. I gotta know things. I know stupid, odd, sometimes could be a little racial or whatever odd question. I just want to know. I don't know. So let me ask dumb questions. Speaking of dumb questions, this is a little goofy. I feel like I'm watching Tom Servo announce this wine tasting. It's so fucking weird. Well, John Solo comes in a real video. The Ballet of Flight featuring John Solo. Let's go, Solo. Hope one day we can fly together, Winjumbi. Me too, man. Winjumbi, you've been awesome. Man, I've had so much fun. I can't wait for Winjumbi V2. If you guys haven't noticed by now, I can only really do like one, maybe two things at a time. So typing and talking or typing and, you know, keeping focus just doesn't work. This is pretty cool though. I want to apologize for not, you know, talking on the videos and like giving them my 2 cents and everything tonight as much as I normally do. I've just been having way too much fun with my live guest, Winjumbi. This was a bucket list for sure. Knocking that off. Like I said, the man's voice makes me happy. Like, it just brings a smile to my face just hearing the guy. And then what I really enjoyed was the fact that, like, at the very beginning, he was talking about, you know, he's got these Canadian roots and stuff, so he's got these, you know, English and French speaking relatives and family members and stuff like that, so he can kind of one of my black friends that I work with, I ask him all the stupid, like, I'm white, so I don't know how black culture works, like, we call them black questions. So I asked him you know, like, how things like that work, and this is way dope. This is way cool, and it's a cultural difference. Like, he calls it code switching, when you could switch from like and I'm not being racist, it's just my ignorance here. It's just being like the, you know, the gangster rapper style that you see to like, I know some of the whitest black guys you'll ever meet, and then they can just be like thuggish every once in a while, and he calls that code switching. But like, when we got to catch little pieces of Winjumbi switching, like he said he was putting on his best Canadian, you know, voice or whatever, so we were, you know, clear on what he was saying. When he would let that, like, the pound and the crown and pound, like, those little small snippets slip, like, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, just getting that little taste of what the real Windjumpy is and stuff like that. It's so much fun. Again, I know you're in the chat hanging along. Thank you so much, Windjumpy. That was so great. Can't wait for V2. All right, so John Solo is absolutely killing this bridge in the wintertime. Let's see what Spagoose has got to say about it. Cinnawhoopin' Miles Standish Lake reveal YouTube 300-bit. Let's go, Spagoose. It looks like Spagoose is going to be our ending video of the night. We went overboard a little bit, which is not terrible. But it is the last stream that I will be doing before I head out to the Rippies, meaning I need to stay up late tonight and finish fucking packing because I have tomorrow and then I leave Thursday. So I'm gonna stay up a little bit later, even after all the videos, after the live stream, and finish my packing list. Hopefully I can get some sleep beforehand. My kiddo was, he couldn't sleep last night, so I couldn't sleep. So sleep would be necessary today, but we have to give the videos love they deserve. And thank you again for each and every single one of you guys coming out and supporting us here on the Quad Corner live stream. Thank you for hanging out and chatting up with us in the live chat. If you're there on the replay, gang, thank you so much. I get hiccups like crazy. Thank you so much for being here. You know, we're doing this because we love FPV and we love. Jeez Louise, hiccups are crazy. We love the community that surrounds FPV and what it does for all of us and each and every one of us separately, you know. And like we were hitting on today, it's we all have our lives, our day-to-day lives where everything's a little bit different. And you know, my views are different than your views, but at the end of the day, we're gonna put all that bullcrap behind us. And we're gonna focus on, you know, getting through that teeny tiny gap or hitting that dive or whatever. So it's all about getting out there, having a good time, and you know, being a part of the community. Which at the very end of the day, if you need some know-hows or you need to know when something's coming up or whatever, travel back on over to thequadcorner.com. Check out our calendar for a full list of dates and times and thingamajigs and stuff and doodads. If you notice that your stuff and doodad is not up there, or you know of an event that's coming that would be beneficial for other people to know the generals of the doodads and the things and the stuff, holler at either myself or 608 and we'll get you in there. We'll put it up. If you know of a homie meetup coming up and we haven't put it up on the, you know, on the calendar, holler at us. We want to keep quadcorner.com as the place for the in the know. You know, we want you all to know that there's a giant community out there all over the place, and you could just be a part of it. I mean, you are a part of it. So on that note, I had an awesome time tonight. I hope you guys did too. Thank you again to my special guest, Windjumpy. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sticking it out. I gotta finish packing, which means I'm out of here. I love you guys. Everything's working, right? Everything seems to be working. So my Twidget chat, the pop-up chat thing stopped working midstream. And now I can't seem to scroll down on my normal chat to say goodbye or see who's saying what. But anyways, you guys all know I love you so very much. I couldn't do this without you. Quad Corner is the place where anybody... How's that go? Everybody is somebody and anybody can be the star. That's my motto. Quad Corner. Check out next week where we got 608 in the house. I might be joining him and we might be talking about some Rippy action because that's where I'm heading. Down to Florida. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.